hello everyone. How are you doing? Jay has let me know she's gonna be a little bit late, and that's okay too. We're good with that. We really are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start talking about what I'm going to talk about, which is actually the appeals process, because the appeals process is a big deal when you have a lethal injection or they've been given the death penalty, because that's a lot of why they sit on death row for so long, because they have so many opportunities to change what's going to happen to them. So I thought, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go like this. Now tonight we're just going to dig into the full appellate history of Christa Pike, nearly 3 decades of filings. And I don't like this camera. I'm so sorry, guys. She competency battles, constitutional challenges, emergency stays, and every legal maneuver her team has attempted to stop or delay her execution. Let's say unsuccessfully. Now we're going to go straight through the timeline, no fluff, no sugarcoating, just the facts and the record as it stands today. So first, let me give you my fair use disclaimer, because I feel like we need to do that every time, because we do use other people's information when we do these lives. This live stream contains commentary, analysis, and discussion of publicly available court documents, filings, and media related to the Christa Pike case. All materials referenced under fair use for purposes of reporting, education, criticism, and commentary. No copyrighted content is reproduced in full. All opinions expressed are my own, and all source material remains the property of its respective owners. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is Christa Pike. Now, what is it doing here? So let's get right into it. Now, I'm going to take you all the way back to the beginning, which is 1996 to 1998. Every time somebody gets the death penalty, the first thing that happens is that you get automatic appeal. Now, that's called a direct appeal after conviction. Let me pull something up right quick on my phone so I can just kind of give you a little synopsis of what happened. I know Jay's going to go all into all of that, and I'm just going to cover what happens after. Okay, hang on. Here we go. Yeah, all right. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Thank you for being patient. I appreciate that. I haven't done a dual live in so long. Let's see. Here we go. Her crime. We'll start with her crime, and then we'll move forward. All right, here we go. Now, she took the life of somebody when she was 18 years old. So here we go. The official Tennessee court record confirms the case of the state of Tennessee versus Christa Pike, and there have been significant filings since 2026. Now, the victim was Colleen Slimmer, and she was 19 years old. The date of this incident was January the 12th, 1995. The location was Knoxville, Tennessee. Now, victim in Pike rape, John Corpus. Pike was convicted of premeditated first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Now, the prosecution presented evidence that Pike planned the killing, and that Slimmer was just the subject to a prolonged attack. The jury found that the murder involved torture or serious physical abuse beyond the necessary to cause death, one of the aggravating circumstances supporting the death sentence. So, while incarcerated, now this is where it gets really interesting. And hello, everybody. If the chat's going too fast, I can't really say hello to everybody. But anyway, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. We always appreciate seeing you. This is where it kind of gets very important. Now, while incarcerated, Pike was convicted of attempted first-degree premeditated murder for an August 2001 attack on a fellow inmate, Patricia Jones. She received 25-year sentence for the conviction concurrent with her death sentence. So she's in prison trying to murder people as well. This is especially important for this show. The Tennessee appellate docket shows activation in 2026, including supplemental briefs filed in July and August 18th of 2026. Now, the Tennessee court docket also shows that there's an execution date that had previously been set by order dated September the 30th, 2025. So now she's managed to get this put off for a whole year, because the date now is September the 30th of 2026. So here's the question that I have for everybody. Will Christa Pike meet her maker on September the 30th of 2026? Right? That's the question we all have. So let's get right into her appeals. So anyway, oops, dropped my little mic thing. Okay, now this all starts from 1996 to 1998. She did a direct appeal after conviction, which everybody gets the direct appeal. That's how it works. Now, after her 1996 conviction for the torture and murder of Colleen Slimmer, Pike automatically received a direct appeal to the Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals. She raised a few key arguments in this appeal. Now, her age, she was 18 years old, which should mitigate the death sentence. Claims of ineffective assistance of counsel, they all file ineffective assistance of counsel. We're used to that. Challenges to the admissibility of the statements that she had made, and arguments that the torture evidence was unfairly prejudiced to the jury. Now, after that appeal, the outcome was that the Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals affirmed her conviction and death sentence. Then in 1998, the Tennessee Supreme Court also affirmed. So she's tried this twice, right? Now, this locked her status in as the youngest woman on death row in the United States. Now, that's where I find it odd, because most of the time when you have somebody that was 18 years old, it is changed to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And the reason why is because they get a death penalty as an adult, but they're not really adults at 18 years old, just to say that, right. So then we move on to a post-conviction relief that was filed 1998 to 2004. After losing her direct appeal, Pike filed for post-conviction relief, arguing deeper constitutional issues. Now, claims included severe mental illness and trauma history were not properly presented. Of course they weren't, right? Because we all have to be mentally ill in order to kill somebody. Look what's going on in the Lindsay Clancy case. That is so irritating. We're not going to talk about that right now. Her lawyers failed to investigate psychiatric evidence. Her confession was coerced, and her youth and instability made her incompetent to stand trial. The outcome of those were the post-conviction court denied relief, finding her attorney's performance met the constitutional standards. Her mental health issues did not invalidate the conviction, and no constitutional violations occurred. So then the Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals affirms the denial in 2004. This ended her state level appeals. So what does she do? She moves on to the next level, as they always do. Federal habeas corpus. Now, 2004 to 2012, next Pike filed federal habeas corpus petitions. The major federal appeals on death row inmates used the challenge of constitutional violations. And one of the things they always claim is that the death penalty, lethal injection, is against the Constitution. They all claim the same thing. We've seen this over and over and over, right? So next, after that, and so the major argument was ineffective counsel, failure to present mitigating mental health evidence, unconstitutional sentencing, and violations of due process. In those appeals, the outcome was the federal district court denied her petition, the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed the denial, and the Supreme Court declined to hear her case, ending her main federal appeals. You think it's over, right? Okay, because she's been heard all over the place. But guess what? It's not over. This is what I find very unfair about the death row and how long people sit there on death row. There's no need for it. Then she does the escape plot and the hanging attempt. Because she was there's another thing about this, but I'm gonna let Jay kind of talk about that. She did want to be hung instead of lethal injection. Can you imagine that? So in 2011, Pike was charged with attempting to escape by bribing a correctional officer. This incident triggered increased isolation, heightened mental health concerns, and a new wave of legal filings. Now, in March 2012, Pike attempted to hang herself in her cell. Her attorneys used the incident to argue she was not competent for execution, her mental state had deteriorated severely, and Tennessee should halt any execution plans. Of course she did, right? Now, court acknowledges her mental health struggles, but ruled she remained competent. Then we have the next thing that happens over here. It's just crazy how many times she has filed something to stop her execution. Throughout the 2010s, Pike lawyers filed multiple appeals and motions focused on suicidality, borderline personal disorders, trauma history, deteriorating mental health, and competency to be executed. But here's the outcome on that. Tennessee court repeatedly ruled that Pike understood her conviction, she understood her sentence, and she understood the consequences of execution. Therefore, she remained eligible for execution. I know, guys, I know, it's wild. Then the next thing she does is she rocks along and she decides between 2018 and 2023, like many Tennessee death row inmates, joins the statewide litigation challenge because they know that this will delay their execution and it'll just drag on, right? Lethal injection protocol, the constitutionality of the drug combination, and the risk of pain and suffering. Now, they weren't concerned about the pain and suffering of the person that they took the life of, but they're damn sure concerned about their pain and suffering. I've always found that really odd. Okay. The outcome was the challenges did not overturn her sentence, but they delayed the execution schedule. So what does she do next? Of course she does this. They scheduled an execution date of December 14th, 2023, but it was stayed, so she wasn't executed then. Now, Tennessee set Pike's execution for December 14th of 2023. Her attorneys filed emergency appeals arguing the ongoing mental health deterioration, unresolved constitutional issues, and problems with the Tennessee lethal injection protocol. Now, the outcome on those was the execution was stayed, giving her an additional time for litigation. I find that ridiculous. I really do. So the next thing that happens in this case that is ridiculous, renewed appeals and federal motions. Now, this happened between 2024 to 2025. Now, during this period, Pike's team filed new competency challenges, additional constitutional claims, requests for reconsideration of prior rulings, of course she did, and appeals based on evolving standards for juvenile age of offenders, even though she was 18. Now, the next thing that happened, well, none of these succeeded. The courts constantly ruled her sentence was lawful, her appeals raised no new constitutional violations, her mental health evidence did not meet the threshold for incompetence. Now we come along to 2026. This is where it gets a little hairy here. Now, Tennessee rescheduled Pike's execution for September the 30th of 2026. This date remains active. Her attorneys continued filing an emergency competency motions, requests for stays, constitutional challenges, and claims related to the mental illness and the trauma. But no court has granted her relief since 2023 stay. As of now, Pike's legal avenues are last-minute federal motions, potential Supreme Court emergency intervention, and requests for clemency from the governor. Historically, Tennessee grants clemency extremely rare. So that is the case and the history of all the appeals that she's tried over and over and over, and that is why she stretched this out 30 years. Do you really think that somebody should sit on death row for 30 years? Because I do not. Okay, let me pull this up right here. All right, there we go. Is my screen coming up? Oh, what is it doing? Hang on a minute, guys. All right, let me get rid of that. Okay, now, let me fix this. All right. And here we go. So she's been on death row for 30 damn years. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But see, there's men that's been on death row even longer. And what I don't understand is why in the world death row inmates sit on death row for 30, 40, 50 years, period. How is that fair? It's not. It's not fair at all. And I don't know what we can do to make changes to the death system in this country. Because when we have people who are unable to hear, unable to see, and they're in a wheelchair, they're being wheeled down to the gurney, to be put on the gurney. Somebody has to help them on the gurney so they can be executed. Do you think that is something that we should be doing? We're talking about people who are 80 years old and they sat on death row for 45 years or so. No, it should never be like that. Something needs to happen. I don't know where to start to make this change, but we need to be doing something about the fact that we are executing people in what I call nursing home executions. So that is the part that I wanted to bring to you all today about Christa Pike. I think that Jay, she's much more entertaining than I am on that kind of thing, and I know she has a whole show planned. When she comes on, I'm sure she'll be giving you all this other information that I'm not going to give. I just had to start a little early because she told me she's running a little late, and we're cool with that. That's okay. It's fine. No problem at all. Now, there are so many other cases just like this out there. There are. And it's shocking how many people are on death row that have been on death row for years and years and years. Now, the fact that she murdered somebody basically while she was in prison, so she gets. See, I think that some of these criminals, do things while they're in prison just to stretch out the death sentence, because they know once they do that, they have to start all over trying them for those crimes as well. So that means that the whole process basically starts over, because they get appeals from the first murder, and then they get appeals from the second murder, and it just drags it on and on. So now, if any of y'all are watching the Lindsay Clancy case, I can tell you that today the jurors went home without having without finishing. They don't have, they have not found, they've not made it to the point of convicting her yet. Is she going to get not guilty by reason of insanity? You know, I think it's leaning toward that, only because neither one, not the prosecution nor the defense, made very good. They didn't do a very good job, really. And the way this courtroom was run was so wild. It was so unprofessional. I mean, I worked in the district attorney's office I worked for the district attorney's office here in Texas before I retired. And I can tell you what went on in that courtroom for Lindsay Clancy did not happen in our courtrooms. Our judges did not put up with that. But anyway, so that's about that. I don't know what else to talk about other than this case is dragged on longer than most cases. And I always really thought that they would commute her. I never really thought that she'd still be on death row. I just didn't. Well, here's the thing, Luna. I have kind of always did a little bit of true crime, but not really considered myself a true crime channel. I like to cover the appeals, the trials, talk about executions. I do execution watches. I don't really like to talk about the children who are missing, that kind of thing. So I leave that to other people, because let's just face it, some of them are just better at it than I am. But anyway, I still have a good time. Every day I come onto YouTube and I meet new people, and it's always been fun. I have a lot of respect for Jay. She's very, very hardworking, and I just love her. I really do. I mean, I say that a lot, but it's true. We do. It's really true. Yeah. So let's see. I think it's like let's see. What is that? Y'all, I don't know what that singing is, but all right. I'm hearing some other voice. My husband's television. Anyway, you guys. Let me see what else I can pull up on Christa Pike really quick. I'll tell you what I do have, but I cannot play it today because Jay doesn't want to sit on here for 3 or 4 hours. I have the 58-minute oral arguments in this case. Now, I do want to play the oral arguments at some time, so I think what I'm going to do is just come back and do a second live just to show the oral arguments in her appeals cases, because that's where you find out things that you don't find in, is that me? Yes, it is me. Absolutely. Michelle, how are you doing, girl? Good to see you. Yeah, it's me. Here I am, just all in my all for y'all to see. I actually decided to, show my face tonight, because I know Jay shows hers all the time, and I'm fine with doing that. But yeah, it's me. But I want to show this 58-minute video, but I can't do it here. So we're just going to do a number 2, and I'm going to show the appeals oral arguments. In those oral arguments, you find out things that you don't know about, because it's not in what we are shown, right? It's not in the media, and this case is pretty old, and so it was not on live TV at any time, period. So what we have to rely on, the information that we can get out of the appeals. And in the appeal process, you hear about things that happen within the courtroom. It's all in the appeal. You find out some pretty good information about these cases. It's eye-opening, some of the things that happens in these courts. So anyway, she should be coming on soon. I don't know if she wants to play like I don't want to show any YouTube. I want her to show all of that to you guys. Let's see. Let me see who else in here. I can't hardly. I'm putting my little glasses on this, so I'm a little blind. Let's see. Sadie's mama, Kel. Yes. We've got Luna Wolf, KH Crime Labs, Michelle. I've seen her everywhere for a long time. Miss Pearl Lopez, mom of Jay, who I love. She's so sweet. We have Keta Mendez, Sadie's mama. Let's see. Who else is in here? Gianna, hello, how are you doing? Let me go up here and say hello to these other people that I know are in here that I have not said hello to. Let's see. Let me tell you, I have done this 1,200 times, but I still become a nervous wreck every time I come here. I don't know why. It's crazy. I know. I know. Let's go up here and see who all's here today. Gosh, the chat's been moving pretty fast, so it's hard to keep up with everybody. We have Mama Sage. Let's see, Jill Nellen, Kel, Lady for Justice. How you doing, girl? Good to see you. We also have Deborah Stearns. There's Deborah. I always am happy to see her when she comes into chat. She's another one of these people that I really, really like, and I'm so glad to see her today. And then we have who we have. This is awesome. Some of these names I'm not going to pronounce them correctly. I'm so sorry. We have Kimberly Cunningham is here today. Good to see you. I think it's awesome. I think that's right. Kate Mendez, it looks like. I don't want to butcher all these names, but I probably will butcher some of them. Let's see. Sadie's Mama, Deb. Who's this? Tony 1300. Good to see you. Jessica. Okay, there's Jessica. Good to see you. Who else is on here? Somebody, Patrick. Good to see you. Let's see. I'm having a hard time seeing these. I have to move this thing closer to me. Okay, I'm scrolling down for a minute. Yeah. Let's see what Deborah has today. I'm making another big batch of puppy chicken stew that goes on top of their single source kibbles. We try to do our best feeding them. I feed raw. She's fed raw for years. Hurricane frozen food. Hey, there's our friend. Let's add her to the stage. So good to see you. Here we go. Are you there? Oh, where's she at? Add to stage. All right, let me get rid of this. There you are. Girl, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm trying to get in here. Thank you for starting the show, guys. Show some love to Lil Red. I appreciate you. We're collabing today on the Christa Pike case, and I know some of you don't know about it at all, but I'm here for it. We're both here for it. I'm going to tell you what's happening, what happened, and what's happening next. All right.
Good.
Also, will Christa Pike meet her maker? Guys, again, apologize for my tardiness. I went and got a haircut. Look at that.
Ooh.
I got a special haircut with a line in it.
Oh, that's cute. That's really cute.
Yeah, well, I just got a haircut, so I'm sorry. I apologize for my tardiness. I usually am not. Where are we?
Well, you're excused. I just went through the appeals process and what happened every time she did these appeals and why she had so many appeals. And I thought I will let you take over now because you are better at talking about all the other parts of this case. So I'm turning it over to you. Thank you so much, guys.
Turn it over. I'm gonna put up this video where the judge.
Thank you.
4 days ago, judge rejects Christa Pike's push against a lethal injection, and then I have a whole episode planned, so we'll just kind of go back and forth. You're very pretty, my friend. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's why the hater.
Last week.
All right, so let me do this. Let me see if I can share my screen. All right, let me share this and put it on here. All right, guys, we're going to test this out. I've got a whole episode planned for today. Lil Red and I are collabing. All right. And I'll say hi to everybody as soon as I put this on. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you. Come on in. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to this woman. All right. And then also, our goal, but whatever. You guys will do it. Okay. So I put it up there, Lil Red, but it's not letting me play it. I think maybe it's something you have to do.
I don't know. I've never seen that. I've never seen that before. It's okay. We'll just try to figure it out. It's great.
Yeah, it says.
Look, Jack's joining us.
Okay, so it says present, and I'm doing this link right here. Can you see it?
Yes, we can. And I think I have to put it right here. I have to add it to the stage.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah.
Can we make it bigger by any chance?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Thank you.
Not that one. Let's do it like this. This will be better.
There that works.
We're all perfect. Yeah, there you go.
Perfectly amazing. Thank you. What's up, Christa? Good to see you. Sadie's mama's in the house. Leslie keeping it real. Mab investigates. Kathy's here. Newfie girl. I'm here, guys. I really just wanted to talk about Christa Pike today and get our good friend Lil Red in. She knows about the appeal process. Guys, this woman is going to be she's on death row. She's going to be executed very shortly. All right. So let's learn about why and what. All right. Let me I'll put this on. And here we go.
A judge has announced his findings in Christa Pike's push against lethal injection. Senior Judge Mark Ward says the state's only woman on death row failed to show she'd suffer needlessly when injected with the lethal drug next month. He also rejected her bid to be hanged instead. On your screen now are 4 major points raised in Pike's hearing here in Knoxville. Pike's blood condition, her PTSD, her alleged small veins, and the option of hanging. Pike watched the...
Guys, this is wild to hear the option of hanging and why somebody would want to be hanged. Now, when we start talking about Christa Pike and I give you the backstory, I don't know how, Lil Red, did you give them the backstory?
Just a small portion, just that what she went to jail for, not the whole story, because there's a whole story to this that has to be explained about how they ended up where they were and how this happened.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is big, and I'm glad to be here with you doing that. It's great. I will gift memberships in a bit, guys. Let me play this, and I will tell you, this was in Knoxville, Tennessee. Christa Pike is the youngest woman ever sentenced to death in the United States. Guys, she remains at the center of one of Tennessee's most notorious murder cases. And guys, the crime is not only marked by brutality, but she also did a prison house attack. And her upcoming execution now is under legal challenge, which we're talking about. I'll roll this, and then I'll tell you all the what day, where, who, and what this monster did. And guys, we gotta remember we're here for the victims. Okay, so I have a video that the victims are saying, please focus on the what she did and whose life she took, rather than Christa Pike. All right, so she's gonna be executed real soon, guys. All right, let me play.
3 days of testimony by video from prison. 10 News reporter Nicole Borman covered those hearings and breaks down the judge's report. Nicole?
Alana, the judge found for the state on every issue presented. The first is if she will experience drastic blood clotting or bleeding when given an IV. Pike's team believed her rare blood condition would make it an issue. The judge says it appears to him her condition does not mean that she will suffer extensive pain when given that IV. He says an anesthesia expert offered by the state convinced him the possibility of her experience severe pain is slim.
Oh, who does that look like? Didn't we just watch him in the fancy trial?
In Canada and elsewhere. And if all these patients, they thought these patients were suffering, pulmonary edema.
Sorry, did you say something? I didn't want to.
Yeah, well, no, he looks like this other guy that was in the Clancy trial, but by the name, it's not the same guy, but they look the same. Anyway, go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing? I see everybody nice and eager in here, but it's not letting me post anybody up there, guys. I apologize. So we're collabing, Lil Red and I. We are on my channel, but it doesn't let me like pin comments or anything.
I think I can do that.
Yeah, just showing these, showing you guys some love. Get those numbers up, hit that like. This is going to be a landmark case, guys. I'm telling you. And Lil Red, I think on 9/30/2026 that she's going to be executed. I think
Me
that.
too. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And when
I'll be on execution watch that day. I will be live waiting for this to happen.
Thank you, because a lot of people are waiting for that. And once these beautiful crime crew members and Lil Red's members see how evil this woman is, you'll say the same thing. All right. Much love to you, Cheeky, and
right.
Channel 53, Gianna, Kathy, Luna Wolf, all my mods, my girl Tiff, my mom, Mama Pearl, Kel. Thank you guys for supporting us. All right, let me finish this. I'm setting up behind the scenes still, so.
Before they die, I can't imagine that they would be using this.
The second issue was if Pike's PTSD from her childhood traumas would make her last moments agonizing. Both sides agreed that Pike has intensive traumas from abuse and sexual assault. The state agreed to do what they can to assign all female correctional officers to her when she's transported, and it's already agreed to shorten her time at Riverside Maximum Security Institution from 2 weeks to only 24 hours before execution. One of Pike's experts said that no matter who oversees her in those final hours, she could experience flashbacks. That same expert hasn't evaluated Pike in 3 years and made a statement in her report that noted the opposite. She said, quote, Christa has matured and learned to process her trauma, and she is truly a different person than she was at the time of the murder. Christa will always carry that history of trauma with.
Guys, she's not different enough, okay? If y'all don't know what she did, I'm going to tell you real quick because we're going to roll into a lot of the court talk and what the lawyers are doing behind the scenes and how this keeps changing. What Little Red said about the what were you discussing? I lost that word. Is it the appeals that she has, or
appeals process? Because she had so many she had multiple appeals, more than any person I've ever seen. Absolutely.
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now listen, guys, listen. Christa Pike is the youngest woman ever sentenced to death, but let me tell you real quick what she did. And guys, you know how I'm gonna do it. I'll come back. We're gonna put all the things up. You'll see the pictures and etc. Now, Christa Pike was 18 years old, guys, when prosecutors said she lured her fellow Job Corps student, Colleen Slemmer, to a secluded area. Now, this is in Tennessee, Knoxville, guys. She was at the Job Corps where you go to advance yourself with some other people. All right. What she did was she took Colleen Slemmer. I want you to remember that name. What?
Oh, somebody donated a here, look, guilty of crime
Awesome.
membership.
I'll leave that for a minute. Let me I can't read and do that, but thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so listen, guys. Christa Pike was at the Job Corps. She took the life of Colleen Slemmer in the most heinous way. What they did was she took Colleen to a secluded area of Tyson Park. If y'all are familiar with Tennessee, you'll know. Guys, this happened on January 12th, 1995. All right. This is 2 years before I even graduated high school in 1997. Now, Christa told Colleen, hey, let's go smoke some weed back there. I'm going to bring along Daryl and Shadola. All right. They signed out of the dormitory at about 8:50 p.m., headed to the park. You can imagine the sunset just going down. Now, investigators later testified that once the group reached an isolated spot, an argument between Pike and Slemmer, so the two women, Crystal and Colleen, their fight escalated, and it went into a prolonged violent attack. Now, the woman that's on death row, Christa Pike, guys, she beat and stabbed and tortured Slemmer, ultimately killing her. And in one of the most disturbing details about this case, Christa kept a piece of her skull as a trophy, and she showed it to others in the following days of the murder. She later confessed to the killing, and here we are. But she's also been violent behind bars, too. So I don't think y'all are going to have much sympathy for her today. What do you think? Any sympathy here?
No, not a bit.
All right, so let me put this on. I've got like some opening clips, and of course we'll do the whole story as we do.
But she now has the tools to control her emotions and deal with life stressors.
Bullshit.
The third topic was Pike's alleged small veins, which her lawyers said would make IV access more painful. Pike's team said that she usually uses a needle meant for children when getting blood drawn. A state expert convinced Judge Ward that her vein size should not result in unnecessary suffering.
Bullshit.
Your report says there's no documentation that Ms. Pike had difficult access. That's in your report.
From what I read, there was no indication of difficult access.
The last issue was an alternate form of execution to make her experience before death less traumatic. Pike's team proposed hanging, which hasn't been done in Tennessee in over 100 years. Her team says if hanging is done right, it would make death instantaneous. Ward found that it could actually lead to strangulation and a more painful death. Riverbend's warden also testified, and he told the judge hanging simply isn't an option at his prison.
We don't have the equipment to conduct that execution. It's not approved by Tennessee law. And just logistics, we wouldn't be able to support that.
Both Pike and the state can respond to the judge's report. The state Supreme Court will ultimately review it, and Pike is set to be executed on September 30th.
September 30th, guys, 2026. All right, I'll leave that up there for a minute. Lil Red, do you have anything to comment on thus far?
Just excited about it, really. I mean, I'm looking forward to do my execution watch. It's something I enjoy doing, and it's not that I'm cruel. It's just that if you've done the crime, you need to do the time. And she killed 2 people. There you go.
Right, and so brutal and so nonchalant when she was in court. Guys, we're gonna go back to her being her 18-year-old self, and you'll see how over the years this woman literally became more evil. Okay, so you see her up, right? She's turned to, in my opinion, she's turned to the devil from the time she did that until now. Now, when this happened, it was in the time of the satanic panic stuff. You remember that, right?
Well, let's see. How old was I then? Yeah.
that was a huge deal. If you look up Christa Pike and satanic panic, that's what they thought it was.
Right now.
Yeah, they thought it was a ritual. They thought what she and Turdell and the other guy did was some kind of cult sacrifice. So Pike and Daryl and Shadola Peterson, they all did this together. But Christa violated that woman in a way that many people haven't seen an 18-year-old woman. Now, guys, while incarcerated, this woman also was implicated in another violent incident. On August 24th of 2001, she attempted to kill the inmate Patricia Jones using a shoelace. Guys, you know what strangulation is like. It takes anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, and it's rough. It's personal. Did you know that, Lil Red, that she did that?
Yeah, I did. We kind of touched on that in the appeal. Because I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know about that one. See, you think you know the case, but you really don't, right?
Well, you don't. Well, not when it's 30 years of, different things going on and having write-ups.
Right. So I would love to get some of that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm here for it. Now, listen, the attack stemmed from tensions involving Christa Pike's girlfriend, Natasha. Now, did Christa Pike go in there gay? No, but when you're in prison, you're going to be gay for the stay, y'all. Whether you're a man, a female, she's been in there for a long time, all right? And it was another high-profile inmate. She tried to kill her because of her girlfriend. Now, Pike's currently scheduled for execution, as you can tell, next month, September 2026. However, the big argument is her attorneys filing motions arguing that her medical and mental health conditions make the lethal injection cruel and inhumane. How's that? I mean, what she did to the victim here is, I mean, what is your take on that, Lil Red, about her keeping a piece of skull? Like, how, I don't even know how you could do that.
It's typical of what you would call could be serial murderer. They always want to keep some little something to remind themselves of, they can look back at it. It's their memory. Oh boy, I'm excited. Look what I did, right? I mean, she's a sick bitch. I'm sorry.
Right. No, that's...
Yeah. It takes a lot to take somebody's piece of a skull. Think about that. Piece of a skull.
Right. Well, listen, Arizona, I'm not celebrating anything right now. I say you can't celebrate. We're not celebrating. We're simply talking about, will Christa Pike meet her maker? Now, yeah, this is a controversial topic because many people don't believe in the death penalty. However, when I play the clip of her mom pleading, her mom's, the mother of Colleen, that what she did to Colleen so brutal, reacts to this decision, and then the family members, the victims of the family, they want to focus on the crime she did and the victims, not her. So I'm not celebrating this at all. I'm just interested in the fact that she was the youngest female to be put to death, and she's actually going to be put to death next month. All right. But I think when you start hearing the family, you're going to have a little more, it's going to sway, but I'm not trying to sway y'all. I'm not trying to sway you. If you're against the death penalty, then so be it. Right? There's people that are against it. It's okay. All right, let me finish this so I can
Thank you.
pull up the next one. Where are we? I got so many of these.
Lana.
Nicole, thank you.
All right, let's do that. Before we get into the story, let me put up May Martinez, the mother of Colleen, reacts to that decision 4 days ago. All right, let me put that down for y'all.
Put yourself in the parents or the victim's family's shoes. When that happens in your family, you're going to think completely differently about this. And it's not that anybody's evil, but this person could never walk among us again. That's it.
Right. And when you see what she did, when you actually, this crime unfolds and you see how personal it was, and then trying to strangle another prison inmate, and then you look at her and you hear how she talks in these courthouse proceedings, you'll see what I see. You'll see the evil behind her. She didn't change, in my opinion. She did, but she only changed for the worst. All right, that's just my opinion, though. All right, let me pull this down. Stop. And I'll put this up.
Okay.
We will get into the story. I just want to let the family have a little bit of a say in here. Her mom just 4 days ago weighed in on this, and that means a lot to somebody when their child has been and their child was a victim. They go to court for years and years and years. They have to go and they have to try to stop the appeals process. All right, so I got that up there, Lil Red. I can't share it though. You have to.
Oh, I have to do this. I keep forgetting you can't share it.
Right. You're good.
There we
go. All right, so Billy Walton attempted first degree, and Jack. I don't know why they have that on here. Hold on, Christa Pike. There she is, and she's smiling, isn't she? Isn't she such a beauty?
She's smiling.
She's evil, I swear. All right, let's play this. I got some more stuff for you.
The judge largely dismissed many challenges posed by Christa Gale Pike in court. She's the only woman on death row in Tennessee. Pike is suggesting her blood condition and small veins could complicate her execution and cause her unnecessary pain and suffering if lethally injected.
Oh, yeah?
Senior Judge Mark Ward's report says Pike's condition would not get in the way of starting an IV and rejected her bid to be hanged instead. This afternoon, we spoke with May Martinez, the mother of Colleen Slemmer, who is the victim in this 1995 killing. Here's what Martinez says about the hearing more than 30 years after she lost her daughter.
She did the crime.
All right, so just quickly, guys, her mom, the smirk. Her mom has had to go through this for decades. All right, at least 3 decades she's had to go through. Is she going to be executed or not? And do I have to go to the appeals process, through the appeals process, to say please don't let her out? And I have a question on that, Lil Red. When it comes to appeals, do you know how many appeals that she's had that get exhausted at some point?
You're not going to believe this, but she's been up there 18 times between different courts. 18 times. But here's what people don't think about. I know what you're saying, but you've got the Supreme Court, you've got Tennessee courts, you've got the United States Supreme Court, and then the Habeas Corpus and the writ of certiorari. I mean, there's so many different things they can file all along the way. And remember, she had 2 crimes there. She's got the death that she did, and then the attempted murder that she did. So when she got the new charge, that started another process of appealing. So she's had so many appeals, it is hard to believe. It's hard to believe. But let me just say this, guys. If you are the family of the victim, every time they file any type of appeal, motion before the appeals, any Supreme, all of that, you are notified. So you are reliving this every single time that they do this. And that is pain and suffering that the family does not need to endure. But see, you reopen that wound every single time. So think about that.
And I agree. When I hear these family members that have been going through this for decades and they're still uncomfortable that these people might get an appeal or they might get out, you'll hear from her mom now. So we'll do that. Yeah. And then her family says the same thing. Her family's saying, the grieving families say focus should remain on the victims, as Christa Pike her executioneers rather than giving her sympathy, right? And Arizona, you say my daughter is dead. I made a friend with the mom of the boy who killed her. Don't tell me RO out self in her family shoes. No, I would never say that to anybody, Arizona, about you not knowing. I don't think I said that. I wouldn't want to deal with any of that stuff. And if you look at like Ethan Chapin and the Idaho 4, Ethan Chapin's family did the same thing. They did not want the death penalty for Brian Kohberger, and they healed themselves by forgiving this woman or Brian, I should say. So some people live in that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, that you're able to forgive somebody and move forward, so you're not holding that in. But yeah, I wouldn't.
A lot of us have had children murdered. Okay, so we understand. And I'm not saying you don't forgive, because you have to forgive for yourself. But they need to be held accountable. That's all I can say. And every time there's an appeal, you're grieving again. You're right back where you started. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, let's go.
Right. Okay. Let's listen to the mom and then the family, and we'll get into the gruesome details, guys. Always a trigger warning if you're on my channel. All right. And huge shout out to you, Arizona. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that, but I hope that you understand that, I was never directing something towards you. This is just my outlook. And if y'all are here and you don't agree, hey, agree to disagree with me all day long.
I think she should pay for it. Given her lethal injection or hung or whatever way she wanted it, it's too easy. I feel that she should have been cut over 300 times the alphabet like Colleen was. I think somebody should have held her down and put a pentagram in her chest. Why? She was alive. That way I would feel better that she felt the pain that Colleen did.
Martinez says it took her 16 years to get her daughter's skull back. Pike kept a piece of Slemmer's skull as a trophy.
All right, there's the victim. Now, Tiff, I'm not sure if you saw my text, but I can't find the collage that I think you sent it to me like days ago. Is there any way you could re-email that to me, please? Hey, Beach Fairy.
Yeah, good to see you. Yeah.
Thank you for that, because I feel like, and I really want to emphasize how some people can be, they can redeem themselves. Some people can turn themselves to God, and some people can reckon with what happened and ultimately forgive. But the problem with this is they took a piece of her skull, and imagine 16 years of trying to get a piece of your child's skull back. And I just can't, I don't want to imagine that. Okay. The way that they brutally took her life. It was 3 of them. It was Christa Pike and 2 guys over jealousy again. Right? Little Red, jealousy was with her girlfriend in prison. And then this one wasn't.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, right?
Wasn't Tadero? I recognize that name, isn't it? Tadero? Was that the one she was dating? Do you recall?
Let me look this up right quick. Let me look up who she's actually dating. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. I'm going to play this while you do that. I just wanted to show her face.
The state held that piece as evidence, which Martinez said is now lost. The Tennessee Supreme Court will now review Judge Ward's report as the criminal case moves forward. You can find that report and a response from Pike's attorney right now on WBIR.com.
I can't find it. All right. Sorry. I usually have a collage. I don't have that. Let's pull this down. Let me see. I wanted to find a really good article. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Let me share this so I can share the article with them, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Share screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Christa Gale Pike was dating Tadero Shipp, sometimes reported as Tad Shipp, a 17-year-old at the time, and was also a student at the Knoxville Job Corps Center. Okay. Have you got it over there? Yeah.
So, guys,
just to get it put up.
And if you want to put that, I'm sharing a article. If you can put that up, lost. All right. So a lot of you guys seem to know about, Tadero. That's what Wikipedia said. Okay. So I've been following this case since it happened, right? I'm a true crime junkie, period. I've said that. My mom used to watch it and I'd sit there with her. So I know this case well. And I know that Christa Pike is a jealous, angry person. But why? But why? And why are they having any sympathy for her? Is that just basic human rights? All right, yes, 3 people brutally. Let me talk about this then. A judge ruled against the death row inmate to challenge the lethal injection. Now, I want to talk about this because she wants to be hung or hanging, which is just the weirdest thing I can think of. To say I don't want to be executed by lethal injection. I want to be hung. I'm pretty sure that the victim didn't get that opportunity, right? Colleen Slemmer didn't get an opportunity to not have her skull piece taken off and her life ripped away over to Daryl. So I don't see why this woman gets that, but I think her time's coming. Now listen, August 23rd of 2026. Today's August 27th, so 4 days ago. A judge ruled on 4 of the major issues presented by Christa Pike's challenge to Tennessee's use of lethal injection. Now, finding that the state's only woman on death row failed to show she would suffer unnecessarily during her scheduled execution, Senior Judge Mark Ward ruled for the state on every issue that was raised during this 3-day hearing in Knoxville. All right. Now, Pike, I'm gonna transport you guys into court in a little bit because Pike watched the testimony by prison video with that smug look on her face. Okay. And again, over time, she's progressively gotten evil. I will show you soon. All right. As soon as I get that from Tiff, I know you emailed it, I'll put it down. Now, listen, they're trying to say her blood condition, right? She argued that her thrombosis, I don't know how to say that, thrombosis, I'm just going to say a blood condition could cause excess clotting or bleeding when an IV is inserted. Another concern is that the complication during the IV process could cause Pike severe pain. But why are we even thinking about that? What, Lil Red, why do we care about that? I mean, is anybody in court saying, well, yeah, I'm just curious.
See, she did that as an attempt to stop herself from being executed. This is all part of the game they play to stop, because she thought, well, if she could get the hanging, they would approve that. Well, see, then they have to go back to the state and have it approved as a method of death, because it's not really something they do, right? So that was just a thing to extend out her time once again.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy did that, and then he shit himself afterwards. Literally. I think that was my favorite part about Ted Bundy. That he literally shit himself. They stuffed cotton up him, and boy, did they took joy in that. They did. They saw what an evil monster he was, and I think that's the sentiment. He is, and so is she, in my opinion. Now listen,
right?
Ward found Pike's condition. That's okay. Ward said Pike's condition doesn't show that she would experience extensive pain from an IV. Now, mind you, the pain that she caused to Colleen. Now, he said that the possibility of complication doesn't establish that Pike faces an actual risk of unnecessary suffering. Now, a state anesthesia expert also testified that the possibility of Pike experiencing severe pain was slim. He says, and I quote, "They're physicians that are actually injecting these drugs into these patients in Canada and elsewhere. And if all the patients, if they thought these patients were suffering, pulmonary edema, et cetera, before they die, I can't imagine that they would be using this." All right. Then they try to use her PTSD and childhood trauma, right? We're going to do a Wade Wilson again, right? So listen, I'm sure she had childhood trauma and PTSD from what she did, but the issue is not on Pike's PTSD. It's the fact that she murdered Colleen in cold blood and didn't even bat an eye at it. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get to the full story. She honestly didn't care. She didn't give a shit about the victim or the families. Now, both sides agreed that Pike experienced significant traumas growing up, and the state agreed to assign female correctional officers to Pike during her transportation. It also was agreed to shorten her time at the Riverbend maximum security before the execution from 2 weeks to just 24 hours. So they're trying to move this forward. Now, this was only 4 days ago, and Pike's experts testified that even with the accommodations, Pike could experience flashbacks to her childhood trauma. Well, isn't that what we're wanting that to happen? We want her to have remorse and think about the shit she did and what happened that got her there. I mean, I'm so confused about this. Why? I mean, why is that even a thing?
Y'all do know it takes 11 to 16 minutes for them to die in lethal injection.
I didn't know that.
It's 11 to 16 minutes. And the thing about this is, as soon as they start injecting this medicine, they are not really feeling. Now, they may look like they're struggling to breathe because they are, but they're not really feeling the pain that people think they're feeling. I mean, when you're on propofol, I think it's called propofol, but it's one of the things that they can use and sometimes do use in the process. So, I mean, that's what they use in surgery to knock you out so that you don't remember anything.
And here's the thing,
anyway.
The way she brutalized Colleen, there was no kind of remorse or mercy that she gave on that girl. And then the fact that I feel she's torturing the family members, particularly the mom, by doing this again and again. This is not,
I agree.
I can't sympathize. Again, I would rather this crime not taken place at all. And I'm not celebrating it. I'm just saying that this is one of those cases, and it's unbelievable that this evil monster can even say this. All right. So listen, a lot of people die by lethal injection. It's been one of the things that's been happening over the last, 10, 15 years, and the medications have failed. There's also medications that these people don't want to provide. The doctors don't want to provide the prison because they say it's inhumane. That is why Koberger was talking about getting a firing squad. Okay. Because of that. Did you know that?
Yeah, I had heard about that. I'm like, why? Why would you want to fire? But there are 4 states that it's legal to use the firing squad. Did you know that?
It is. I did know that.
Crazy.
And I'm like, I'll do it. Give me one. I'll stand up there. You got to have like 6 people in line. They don't all get firing. They don't all get bullets. Some of them are blanks. Right. I'll do it. Let's go. But that's why.
I could never do it, but anyway.
I could do that. Especially the Koberger. I'm done. That's it. Yeah, thank you, Julie Robinson. Christina Pike is a damn devil. Y'all are about to see that. And thank you so much for, guys, my girl Tiff gave me a high five. Luna Wolf, the Guilty of Crime membership. Arizona, thank you so much for the super chat. And Kathy for the Guilty of Crime membership. Guys, please go over and support our friends' channels and sub up to them. All right, Idaho still uses the firing squad, and the reason is because it's hard to get the medication. People don't want to be the people to give that. They don't want to be the person responsible for somebody's death, and I understand that. Now, look, one of the experts testified about her trauma and how in this 3-day, and they say her own report also said Pike made progress in dealing with her trauma. Was that before or after she tried to strangle some female over jealousy? That's what I'm curious. Anyway, we saw that. No, Christa has matured and learned the process. Blah, blah, blah. Right? Her emotions no, not even. All right. 3, she's allegedly small veins. That's an issue. Her attorney argued she has unusually. That's BS too. Pike's team said typically needs a needle intended for children when they get blood drawn. There you go. Now, the state presented a nurse who reviewed Pike's medical records and found nothing unusual. So the judge ultimately determined that Pike's vein size wouldn't be in unnecessary suffering that the lethal drugs are administered. Now, during this very important hearing, an attorney questioned the nurse about whether Pike's records showed that she had experienced difficulty with IV access. From what I've read, there was no indication of difficult access. Now, last but not least, 4th, Pike's request to be hanged. Now, this is what kind of drew me into this. I've already known about this, but her asking to be hanged, that's weird. Now, the final issue was Pike, isn't it? I mean, I just don't hear that. You don't hear that. It's odd. Hey, we're learning, right? So she wants to be hanged instead of lethal injection. Her attorney asked the court to allow her to be hanged instead. Now, guys, hanging has not been used in an execution method in Tennessee in more than 100 years. So her team argued that if hanging were performed correctly, it could break the spine and result in instantaneous death. Okay, but Colleen didn't get an instantaneous death. And neither did the woman in prison that you tried to strangle with shoelaces. So her team argues that if a hanging were performed, it would be, and it was rejected. Judge rejected the argument. He said there's no guarantee a hanging would be performed correctly, and it could lead to strangulation and be more painful death. All right. So the warden at Riverbend also testified that hanging's not an option at this prison, ma'am. We just don't have the equipment to conduct that kind of execution. This is just ridiculous. So Pike is scheduled to be executed September 30th, which is a month and 3 days from today. All right. So grieving family says we should focus on the victims and not this monster. And I agree. All right. You want to interject, and then I'll share another about the family.
I mean, not really. I mean, the only thing I can say about is, they stopped the death penalty, and then all of a sudden they brought it back. And there have been botched executions. There's been a few of them. Let me see, there's 1, 2, 3. I mean, there's about 5 or 6 of them they were bad results. But out of all the people that they've done, I don't really think that's a big number, really. Okay, let's go on. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not a big number. I agree. It's just wild how nowadays these perpetrators have so much more rights than the victims do, or the families. I just doesn't.
Sucks. It's not clear.
Yeah, I put this up there so we can see the family, and then we'll get into the dirty details.
Is it on? Oh, wait a minute. Add to stage. There you go.
I'm just reading it, y'all. I'm reading hanged over hung. I definitely. What happened? Oh, there you go. There it is.
Yeah.
All right. So
appreciate it. Sorry.
Even that face. Look at her smug ass face in that. Oh, it bothers me. Let me also put this up so you can see it. Thank you, Tiff, for sending that over. Christa Pike. I like looking at the pictures of her over time because she definitely, you can see how she's changed for the worst, in my opinion. All right, can you put that up? I'll play this and then we'll put it up. All right, let's do this first. Sorry, I don't want to
can't see it. Oh, this one.
Yeah, I just wanted people to see the progression from. She doesn't even look the same from the time she was convicted. Okay, so look at that, guys. You may know about this case. This may be something that you know. All right, now we're doing English class. Per Google, you always used hanged when talking about killing people. You guys tell me, all right? Okay.
That's funny.
You tell me. I don't see pictures. That's her right there. So look right there. Over time, guys, you might realize that you knew about this case from way back in the days when it was all about cults, right? The occults, people thought they were doing sacrifices. Now look at her. Look at her from left to right. Now in the left, this is in 1995 when she was 18 years old. All right? 18 years old. She's been on death row for 30 years now. We're in 2026, and look at her. Look at the images over time. Like, it doesn't even look like her. All right, hung is correct when talking about clothing. All right, you guys, Haley, Sylvette, and Dawn. I'll do my best to read the articles properly. All right.
All right. Do you want me to move it to the other?
Yeah, you can move out. Yeah. I just wanted people to see the progression of her. Like, it's wild. I didn't even recognize her at first.
What in the hell was this doing? Remove and add. Come on, add to stage. Dang, why is it not adding? Let me try to remove this one now. Okay, and then we'll go back and add. There we go. Got it.
Hey, you'll be a pro after this.
I hope so. I've been trying.
You already are, girl. You got almost 10,000 subs. You're good. All right, let's. The grieving families say focus should remain on the victims, and I agree. We're going to talk about the families, and then we're going to get into the whole damn story. Y'all are going to be like, what? She has the nerve to say what?
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
wild. It is. All right.
In Operation Crime and Justice, a state of Tennessee doctor who failed to execute Tony Carruthers back in May tells Fox 17 News he successfully performed yesterday's lethal injection of death row inmate Daryl Hines. He is also scheduled to perform that same lethal injection in the upcoming execution of Christa Pike. But victims' families tell Fox 17 News the controversy over the state's death penalty cocktail and its administration is overshadowing what should be the real focus in these cases. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is in studio to tell us about their calls for justice.
Christa Pike will be the first woman executed in Tennessee in more than 200 years. As Pike fights for leniency, a family member of another murder victim says carrying out the sentence brings accountability. Tears from Melissa Jenkins saying it's done over her mother, Catherine Jean Jenkins' grave. Catherine was brutally stabbed to death in Kingston Springs in 1985. It's hard. It always will be. But now it's a little different, I guess, because I know that he paid for what he did to her. A day after the Department of Correction executed Jenkins' killer, Daryl Hines, Melissa says she's beginning a new chapter. It helps the healing process.
So, we could talk about the healing process here and people that really don't want the death penalty. There's people like the families in the Idaho 4 that are religious, spiritual, what have you, and don't want the death penalty. And mystic artistry, leniency, really, just wait. We're going to go back to 1995 and you're going to see this cold-hearted person. I mean, literally, it's not even like a human behind anything. And she's gotten worse over the years. All right. Let's continue. Savage. Yeah. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how you would go about doing something like that unless it was really brutal. Like, how can you take a piece of somebody's skull?
It's unbelievable, really.
I can't imagine how she even committed this crime. And it was her being jealous over this guy to Daryl. And the same thing happened.
Crazy. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
That was crazy too. That guy wasn't that important. Wasn't worth killing over. Nothing ever is. Right.
Yeah, well, that particularly. All right, let me play it.
Melissa has now become an advocate for other victims' families waiting for justice.
The rest of us have to be held accountable for what we do on a daily basis. They need to be as well.
Christa Pike was sentenced to die for the murder of fellow Job Corps student Colleen Slemmer in Knoxville in 1985. Court documents say Pike claimed that Slemmer had been trying to get with her boyfriend and had thrown a large piece of asphalt at the victim's head, cut her throat, before mutilating her body. Slemmer's mother, Mae Martinez,
And I'm not going to say that the mom or the parents or the family are, I'm not going to say anything. We don't victim blame. I don't know, how they raised her. I don't know whose fault or what, but as a grown ass woman now, it's Christa Pike's fault. It's her fault. And you'll see why. She just simply doesn't care. She does care. She cares about herself, guys. All right.
To Fox 17 News years ago.
Thank you. That's what yes. And I need to learn my words like that, like sociopath, like what that, because I'll throw it out there like psychopath, narcissist, you know what I mean? But look at that. Right. Look at Colleen in 1995, a beautiful young woman that was on her way to whatever she wanted. All right. Whatever she wanted. Go ahead.
Okay. So you go. Right.
Yeah, she carried a piece of skull with her as a trophy, guys. All right, come on in. Let's go. We're getting to the story next. I just want you guys to understand who the victim is and their family members.
No one knows what it feels like to lose a child unless you didn't lose a child.
Now this week, Pike's attorneys argued for her upcoming lethal injection to be delayed, saying she had compromised veins and there was a risk of severe pain, calling even for alternative sentences like hanging.
She deserves to pay for what she did. And I am so sorry what Colleen's family has had to go through for 30 years. I know how that feels.
Yep.
We did it for 40.
The Tennessee Supreme Court set Pike's execution for next month on the 30th. A report on the findings of Pike's hearing this week has to be given to the Tennessee Supreme Court next Friday. Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Now we've got
and it has, all right? It's gone there. It's come back, and we're headed for an execution. All right, that's what we're headed for. Let me pull this down and put this up. This is the story. I found, I think, a really good one, a really good video that we can actually use to go back and show and tell, so to speak. All right, Tennessee schedules her execution for September 2026 for the murder of her high school classmate. All right, so let's get into that. If you guys do me a favor, who knows? Do you guys all know about this case already, or can you guys throw one in chat if you know this case? I think a lot of people might confuse this with another case, and that's why I'm trying to make sure you understand that Christa is the youngest woman on death row. She was when she got sentenced at 18, and now she will be the youngest woman on death row that gets executed. Right now, Tyson and Tadaryl, do we know? No, I'm sorry, Tadaryl and Shadola. Those names are weird. Okay, let me press play and then I'll look for that in a second.
Okay, there's gonna be a lot of ones.
Is there?
Yeah.
See, some people, it's interesting that some people don't know this. Maybe they weren't in that the generation. It's 30 years old.
Right.
Yeah, it's old. And the victims, the family members are victims as well. Let's take a look at this.
That is unacceptable, and I realize that. But I don't deserve to die for the actions of 3 individuals.
Finally, after years of appeals.
All right, so look at her. I got to show you this so you can bring it back. All right. Someone said it's about time she gets the needle. When you look at her there, I mean, I see the darkness in her eyes. It looks black. She didn't have any kind of remorse. And then when you see her smug self coming forward, it's like, whoa, what? All right, she can't even cop to it. Right. Anything? I'm going to look up to Daryl and them. I know they'll show it on the side, but they didn't get the death penalty. All right, let me press play. Look at her, and then we'll continue because she's going to age, progress like a mope.
Christa Pike is set to be executed in 2026. The youngest woman ever sentenced to death, just 18 years old at the time, an occultist who brutally murdered her classmate. Join me as we take a closer look at this case and the exact date of her execution.
It is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death by electrocution in the mode prescribed by law, and that you shall be transferred to the custody of the warden at the Tennessee Prison for Women. And further, on the 12th day of January, 1997, your body shall be subjected to shock by sufficient current of electricity.
Guys, she's only crying for herself. Yes, Melanie, thank you. Black eyes. I don't know what color her eyes really are, but her eyes look black, don't they? Like
I was typing the exact same thing. Yeah.
And the only time she showed emotion was for herself. All right? She's got dead eyes. Yeah, do crime, do the time. Dark eyes. She carved a pentagram in the victim's chest. But listen, here's the thing is they still label this as an occult type of murder, but it really wasn't. It was only jealousy, just pure jealousy. Same thing that motivated her in prison to try to strangle a woman with shoelaces. She was jealous of her girlfriend. Remember, gay for the stay, guys. All right, she only cares. It's true. When inmates go in and they're there for that long, they're gay for the stay. They gotta be, you know. I hear a lot of inmates talking about that with men too. All right, let's listen to her cry for herself. God, have mercy upon me.
God, have mercy upon me. Mr. Bates, Mrs. Pike, can
I please have my mom before I go?
Christa Gale Pike was born on March 10th, 1976, in Beckley, West Virginia, into a deeply dysfunctional family. Her mother, Carissa Hansen, struggled with alcoholism and drug abuse, consistently prioritizing her party lifestyle and multiple romantic relationships over the care of her daughter. As a result, Christa was largely raised on her own, without maternal supervision, moving from one relative to another. During her childhood, she was a victim of abuse from a very early age. Growing up in a chaotic and unstable environment, by the age of 9, she was already addicted to marijuana, and by 12, she was consuming large amounts of alcohol. In the absence of her mother, she lived for a time with her father, but he eventually kicked her out of his home due to her ongoing drug abuse and poor academic performance. As a result, she was sent to a juvenile institution for educational purposes. However, she failed to complete the program and dropped out of school in the 9th grade. During her time at the juvenile center, Pike learned about Job Corps, a federal program designed to help low-income youth through vocational training and the development of professional skills. Motivated by this opportunity, she applied and was accepted into the Knoxville Job Corps Center, where she began studying computer programming. The center was designed to remove young people from disruptive environments and operated as a residential program. Approximately 90% of participants lived on campus, allowing the center to provide services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In 1995, at the age of 18, Christa officially moved into the center. On her first day of classes at the Job Corps Center, Pike was not very social at first and struggled to make friends. However, sitting next to her was...
You know what? So they're going to show these people, and I know a lot of people are like wondering what happened to the other two people. And sorry about that. Baby Guilty came in here and needed me, right? Let me see. So let me do this real quick. There's a 4-minute interview that says world's most dangerous prisoners, and it's Christa Pike, Daryl Shipp, and Shadola Peterson, and they call it Satan worshiping, which I'm still not believing that. What do you think about that case? Do you think they just used the devil worshiping thing as a media grab, or what?
When you are carving a pentagram into a person's body that you have murdered, what else can you call it? That's the way I see it.
That's true.
Who does that?
Now, that was definitely the satanic panic. Richard Ramirez did that as well. Do you remember he put the pentagrams on the wall? That's how they caught him. Because, well, they didn't catch him because of that, but he went up to San Francisco and he killed somebody else, and then went back down to LA and he did those pentagrams, so they were able to tie that to him. But I don't think that this case was necessarily had anything to do with that. I think let me do this real quick before we go. I just want to, let me put this up. And I'm going to show the victims, not the victims, the perpetrators, and then we'll go back to the story because I know this is important. All right, if you can share it.
I'm trying to get it together. Come on.
Time. Yeah, that's the thing, is there's no ritual aspect to it, but I want to hear
the right one.
It is.
Is that the wrong one or the right one?
No, it's the right one. It's the right one. I'm going to hit play.
13th of January.
The body was found sort of in a heap, partially displayed, partially covered. The testimony was hardly recognizable as a human being.
Damn.
They announced that the body had been found and what she was wearing. I told my wife, I said, oddly enough, I think that might be a girl I know at Job Corps, and sure enough, it was.
Colleen's mum, May Martinez, had spent the previous night trying to contact her daughter.
I couldn't get a hold of Colleen. I kept trying, and they kept saying she wasn't in her room, and she's still out, and she didn't check back in again. And then the next morning, I kept calling, and I had to take my youngest daughter to the doctors. So when I got home, there was a phone call on my recording saying, please contact Detective York Homicide. Well, I was extremely upset because I kept saying it wasn't true. I said, no, that's not Colleen.
I beat myself up still because I seen them all leaving. I could have said to somebody, hey, they're going to beat her up or something. But I didn't really think it would go that far. I honestly didn't.
Look at those eyes.
What's that?
Man. I said, look at those eyes. Look how deep and dark.
And no matter what picture you look at or what image, that's all I see. And she has brown eyes, but it's like just black the whole time. What happened to the girls that were with her? I don't know. I'm not sure. I may play for me. I might need to take a break for a sec. Hold on. I'll press it.
18-year-old Christa Pike, along with her 17-year-old boyfriend Daryl Shipp and friend Shadola Peterson, had brutally tortured and murdered teenager Colleen Slemmer. Once her body was found, it was only a matter of time before the trail led back to Christa Pike.
I got the first call about the body around 7:30. My name's Randy York, and I was the criminal investigator assigned to the Job Corps murder. I went to the scene and viewed the body and the evidence. She was clad only in blue jeans. She had nothing up top, and she had a massive circle with a star, upside down star called pentagram in it. Her forehead was cut several paces. Her throat was cut. If you don't know what pentagram, that's the upside down star in a circle, and it represents the goat head of Satan.
It was an open secret at Job Corps that there was a small group of students who practiced Satanism. Two of those were Christa Pike and her boyfriend, Darrell.
I had her in class, and you know some students better than others, but as far as her reputation and to Darrell's, we knew that, that they were into, satanic worship. In Knoxville in Tennessee is the Bible Belt. You'll find a church on every corner. So, if there are people that do that, they're an oddity. It wasn't something common at all.
Randy talked to the security officer at the center to see which students had left the building that night.
I looked at the sign-out sheet, and I saw 4 people that signed out. Colleen Slemmer, Shadala Peterson, Christa Pike, and Darrell Shipp. Darrell, Christa Pike, and Shadala Peterson signed back in. There was no signature of Colleen Slemmer. I put an officer on each of the rooms, and I started from one room to the next room, went in and interviewed them, and I found found a satanic altar in the Bible in Darrell's room, a lot of satanic literature. I found some in Christa Pike's room. The more we learned about them, the more we realized they were deep into Satanism. They had tattoos.
So see, they are saying that, and that's why. And then in that time with the satanic panic, damn, this is a positive zone. No fucking around.
Right. It is a safe space for everyone. Yes.
Well, see, now I can understand where where that came from. Them saying that, oh, they're a satanic. I don't think that they actually performed rituals, but maybe at the time they thought there was. I don't know. All right, we're almost done.
Anytime, when you get a group of kids like that, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, a group like that where you're doing drugs and
all of that, yeah.
All right, let me finish playing this so I can put that on. It's been a day. Baby Guilty's a handful right now.
She had the little devil tattoo on her left chest.
Randy now had his suspects, with Pike, the ringleader.
All right, let's put this down. Yeah, this story's been, over 30 years, so it's there's a lot of little things. Like Rocco knows so much of it. Rocco's in there telling us all kinds of stuff.
Quit. All right. Quit. My dog's on. Okay. You want to put
I put that back up. No, I put that back. I wanted to finish the story. They were teenagers.
Okay. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, I want people to know the story to refresh it or that they didn't know.
Okay.
So yeah, let me press play. I just I think this is to Darrell, I believe.
I think you're right.
Yeah, to Darrell, and that was Christa Pike's boyfriend. Remember, this is an 18-year-old that's at the Job Corps. I believe at the time the Job Corps was like one of those things that if your kids don't want to go to college and they're not listening, you would say, go to Job Corps, get out of here. But I'm not sure how it is nowadays. All right, no soul, Beach Fairy says. All right, let me press play.
Darrell Shipp, a 17-year-old student who was the first to speak to her. They quickly became friends, and over time that friendship developed into an intense romantic relationship. Once they were together, both developed an interest in the occult and devil worship, even wearing necklaces with pentagram symbols. Colleen Slemmer, originally from Orange Park, Florida, had arrived at Job Corps just 3 months earlier to train in computer programming after dropping out of high school. Her mother, May Martinez, had hoped the program would help her daughter turn her life around. Since they were in the same computer programming class, Slemmer had formed a friendship with Taterl Shipp. In class, whenever Pike saw Colleen talking to Taterl, she was consumed by jealousy, and the two women never got along. During one of these
But here's the thing, and I can't move forward with this and say in good conscience that she changed, right? I mean, we just read that 4 days ago. 4 days ago, she's grown and she's changed. Well, do we have any information on the prison attack?
Right? No, not really.
I knew about it, but I didn't know like what she got, extra time, or how, or what is involved. But it was the same exact crime. It's exactly what happened here. Yeah, she was. I'll press play, but she was jealous here the first time when she mutilated Colleen's body and took a piece of her skull, and then she did that in prison again in 2021, just 6 years after committing the first crime. She went and tried to strangle this woman because she was jealous of her boyfriend. Now, yeah, Job Corps used to be something a long time ago that I don't know if it even still exists. Yes, it should be a safe place and regulated, but it is one of those places that they'll send you if you don't make it into the military, you're not going to college, and, well, I guess Chris is the perfect candidate for that, huh? All right.
jealous episodes, Pike became obsessed with the idea that Slemmer was trying to steal her boyfriend. Slemmer's friends strongly denied these accusations, insisting that they were just friends, but Pike remained firmly convinced that Colleen posed a threat to her relationship. On January 5th, 1995, Pike confessed to her friend Shadala Peterson, who was also involved in the occult, that she intended to kill Colleen Slemmer. She later told Taterl Shipp that because of their occult beliefs, they needed to take things to a more extreme level by carrying out a human sacrifice in the name of Satan, with Colleen Slemmer as the victim. She asked both Shadala and Taterl to help her. Although they were initially hesitant, both would eventually agree to go through with the plan. On the night of January 12, 1995, Pike put her plan into motion. Along with her friend Shadala Peterson, she planned...
Ah, okay, there it is. Now I remember. So this is one of those, if y'all watch like Dateline or Court TV or whatever, they do the flashbacks. Okay, now I'm remembering these characters. All right, the execution will not be public. It usually isn't public, is it?
No. They invite like they'll invite a media person, they invite the families of the victim and of the perpetrator, and there's the sheriff, people that were involved in the case, but it is not open to the public. You can't just go in there and sit down and watch. I mean, it's not like open trial, right?
Yeah. I don't think it ever has been anywhere. It's never been. I mean, when they executed Bundy, I remember Bundy Fry, and they were all out there. They're waiting for the warden to come out and say, "Okay, the execution's done." But and then some people want to be in there. Some family members want to see this happen. I don't even know if they do or not, or who's going to. I know the mom wants to. All right, let's continue.
She'll go. She'll be there.
She will be there, yeah, I'm sure.
And to lure Colleen Slemmer to a secluded location under the false pretense of reconciliation. Pike borrowed a small box cutter from the Job Corps Center and also carried a utility knife. The plan was to offer Slemmer marijuana as a supposed gesture of peace. At approximately 8 p.m., the four met and headed to Slemmer's dormitory. She reacted with happiness, believing they wanted to make peace, and agreed to go with them. Pike, Slemmer, Peterson, and Taterl Shipp left the Job Corps complex and walked along 17th Street toward the University of Tennessee campus. Only 3 of them would return. The group arrived at a desolate area near an abandoned steam plant on the University of Tennessee's agricultural campus, a remote location far from the main campus activity. Once there, Pike ambushed Slemmer, violently striking her and slamming her head into her
And this is the story I wanted you to hear directly from us, because that's how I perceive this case and the way that they're telling this. I mean, and I do love that they go back and cut the clips, but guys, yeah, they offered her devil's lettuce back then. Yeah, the devil's lettuce synth is funny. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. It is funny. The devil's lettuce. It was a big deal back then, and this whole thing with the occult was as well. So I still don't believe that this was any kind of satanic panic, but I get it. Let's continue. She brutalized this woman, and I think you guys are right. She took out her pain on somebody else. But
that makes sense.
It does make sense. I still don't have sympathy for her. Let's continue.
Her knee. When Slimmer tried to escape, Tadaro Shipp chased her down, captured her, and dragged her back so Pike could continue the attack. Over the next 30 to 60 minutes, Colleen Slimmer was subjected to brutal, systematic torture. Pike and Shipp used a box cutter to slash her throat at least 6 times, causing deep wounds that cut through fat and muscle. Using a small knife, they inflicted deep cuts across her back. To keep her under control, they forced her to remove her blouse and bra and stuffed a cloth into her mouth to prevent her from...
Now, mind you, the mom has to relive this every time she goes to an 18 appeals, right? 18 appeals. Yeah. Over 30 years. No, nothing does, Lady Justice. I'm just giving you the background on it for anyone that wants to decide for themselves. All right? But no, this is the victim here. She's not the victim. Yeah, thank you, Dawn. Dawn of the Darava. Yes, it was cool back then to be in the satanic panic. All right, let's continue.
From screaming. Forensic evidence later revealed numerous defensive wounds on her arms and hands, indicating that Colleen fought desperately throughout the entire attack. While torturing her, Pike and Shipp carved a pentagram symbol, a 5-pointed star approximately 3 inches in diameter, into the victim's chest. Throughout the assault, Colleen Slimmer repeatedly begged them to...
Okay, so this is why. There it is. There's the explanation. 1995 and 97, the satanic panic, and this. I mean, what can you really say about this other than that, right? But again, I still don't think that was the motivator. I think it was pure jealousy, and I think Christa got off on what she did to Colleen. I really do. I think she enjoyed it. Every cut, every hit, every, they
usually get a dopamine rush from it. When they're in the middle of doing this, they'll get a dopamine rush.
Right, and they'll say that too, right? They look for that again. For when people are being honest, they'll tell you that. With her, she's just trying to get out of whatever. I don't know if I know she's trying to get out of the death penalty, but that's kind of ridiculous. Like, oh, hang me. You were supposed to be executed by an electric chair, so really, it doesn't matter, right? Whatever one is. But the electric chair, correct me if I'm wrong, is that used anymore? Didn't that stop being used?
It can be used.
Oh, it still can?
It can be used, yes.
Okay.
There was a time whenever between 1978 and 1988, in some state, they would let the perpetrator pick what method of death they wanted when they had the death penalty. But that has since stopped because... Okay, there's a whole long backstory about that, and we'll talk about that another time, but it was weird. Anyway,
right.
Go ahead.
Right. No, I always want to hear about it, but I hear you. Yeah, I always want to talk and interject and know what you know or hear what you know, because I don't know. I don't come from that side of it, and I appreciate that you do, right? With the PACER documents and, yeah, I mean, you can't get any more receipts than that, right?
That's right.
You can't get any more of a receipt than the documents from the court. All right, let's continue. This is just wild.
To stop beating and cutting her. Finally, after between 30 and 60 minutes of torture, Pike lifted a large chunk of asphalt from the ground and smashed it onto Colleen Slimmer's head. The impact was so violent that the asphalt shattered into several pieces, which were also thrown against the head of the dying victim. According to the autopsy conducted by Dr. Sandra Elkins, the Knox County medical examiner, the official cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head.
Tadero was respected, if not feared. He protected me. He was probably the first man that I'd ever had in my life that wanted to protect me, that saw me as, you know, a treasure, something good instead of something to use and toss to the side. I wanted to get her off campus, and I had every intention of fighting her. I knew exactly what I was doing.
Now she looks a lot older there. I wonder. I didn't see if they put a timeline up. Did they show like her age?
No.
Okay. Well, either way, when you see her in court, she was a baby. I mean, she was 18, but she didn't even look like she still had a baby face with those dark black eyes.
She sure did.
And she's lying right there. She's straight up. I mean, what she's saying she has no remorse about it. Look at she. Oh yeah, I was gonna fight her, and yeah, but it was Daryl's fault, right? I mean, they didn't get
It's always somebody else's fault. Know that about a sociopath. It is never their fault. That's what they tell you.
Is that what it is? Or being a sociopath?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, that's part of it. It's always everyone else.
Yeah, well, it's weird because Daryl, which is the co-perpetrator and her boyfriend at the time, he and the other lady actively participated in the murder, and they're serving life without the possibility. Well, he is Daryl, right? Now he was 17. Yeah. He was 17 at the age of the crime, and both were students at the Knoxville Job Corps. Jealousy was the motive. Bottom line. So whatever Christa's saying, she's just trying to say what she thinks you want to hear. Now, he helped lure Slemmer to the University of Tennessee agricultural campus, and then they assaulted, stabbed, beat, and prevented her from escaping. All right. So he got first degree. Daryl, her boyfriend, got first degree murder in 1997 with life, with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Now, I just saw an article saying that 10 months ago, he was up for parole and it was denied. All right. So if you, October 2025, he was up for parole and it was denied. The next scheduled date is 2031.
Do y'all want to watch that parole hearing? Sometimes we can FOIA them.
Yeah. I mean, and then we got Shadola. She was she was the informant. She didn't participate in the killing itself, but she was there that night, and she's the one that cooperated with investigators. She received probation, guys.
Damn.
Make ridiculous.
Sense. Right.
Yeah. Shadola got probation. Damn. And she was a student there as well.
Well, you know, when you talk, you get a deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not all the time, though. Sometimes I'll see somebody talk and then they get screwed. They're like, oh, we'll give you a deal. We will give you LWOP. We won't give you the death penalty.
Right. That's a real deal.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've seen that 100 times. So it's kind of like, hey, talk at your own risk. But she got off. She got off. That's crazy. So she got an accessory after the fact and she received probation, no prison time ever. Now, there's no public reports on her criminal activities. She seems to have lived a pretty private, quiet life. But you got to remember, she was part of this killing. All right. They tortured Colleen for 30 to 60 minutes, guys. That's a half an hour to an hour carving a pentagram into her chest and Pike keeping the skull as a trophy. All right.
We don't know if she was alive when they were doing the pentagram or if she was dead already. We don't know that, so we don't know how much pain she received. So.
Well, you got to think about this. She probably was semi-alive for a while. I mean, they were she got bashed. Wasn't she bashed with a rock or something?
Yeah, slammed it with that rock. Yeah.
So I'm sure she could feel it. I'm sure she could feel that. It just seems like Christa got off on that. Hey, Flojo, we were just talking about you yesterday. We're like, where's Flojo been? Oh, man. Someone says, is she wearing a tiara? No.
It's some kind of bow thing.
I think she's trying to make herself look innocent, right?
Wow, you think so? No, they do that a lot though. Look how Lori Bell, look how some of these people dressed when they went to court. Well, they're just little angels.
Yeah.
They're just, part of the religion. What are you talking about? God.
Don't you see her halo?
That's right.
Flojo's alive. So I was gonna say that too. I thought it was a scrunchie too.
Yeah.
Hey, scrunchies they were popular in the late 90s.
They certainly were.
All right, let's continue. Let's listen to this.
Everything that I did that night, I knew what I was doing. And I think I was taking things out on her that had happened to me years ago.
After the murder, Pike committed a particularly macabre act. She took a fragment of Colleen Slemmer's skull as a souvenir. When she returned to the Job Corps Center at around 10:15 p.m., she went straight to Kim Iloilo's room and told her that she had just killed Colleen Slemmer. Pike showed her the piece of skull she had kept in the pocket of her jacket and began describing in detail how the attack had been carried out. As she spoke, she danced in circles, smiled, and sang, displaying a complete lack of remorse. The following morning, January 13th, 1995, at approximately 8:05 a.m., 2 employees from the University of Tennessee's grounds department discovered Colleen Slemmer's body near the greenhouses.
Trigger warning, trigger warning.
Trigger warning. Well, it's always if you come to my channel, trigger warning. All right. Now, mind you, it's in black and white, but you guys understand. Look at how they look. Yes. And you could see the struggle, even though we can't see her face, and even though it's in black and white, you could see the dark spots and the way her body's laying. Guys, it was for 30 to 60 minutes that she was trying to get away, and they wouldn't let her escape. Bless you.
Sorry.
All right. That's what they did to her, and the person that is most responsible is Christa. She's the one that was the mastermind of this. All right. She told to Daryl and her other friend, we're going to do this. We're going to go out for a fight. And then ultimately it turned worse. Right. But, man, this poor girl.
Agricultural campus. Subsequent DNA analysis confirmed that the blood found on Tatterall Ship's shirt and pants matched the victim's genetic profile.
I was the first one they arrested, the first one they interviewed. And I thought that if I went in there and told him that I did every single thing that happened up there, that Daryl and Shadala would just get to walk out of there and they wouldn't worry about them.
See, she doesn't even give 2 shits about anything other than herself. And over the years, she gets darker and darker, guys. Look, I can't, I hope you guys see that too.
I do.
Vintage. I do too. The blackness, it gets even worse as we move along. I have a clip of her in court now, and I want you guys have to see that after this. All right. Confession and arrest.
Anymore because they had the real killer.
On January 14th, 1995, just 2 days after the murder, Pike was arrested along with Tatterall Ship and Shadala Peterson. Shortly after her arrest, Pike waived her Miranda rights and gave a detailed confession of approximately 46 pages to criminal investigator Randy York. The confession was recorded and later transcribed. In it, Pike admitted her involvement in the attack, but claimed that she and Ship only wanted to scare Slemmer and that the situation got out of control.
I took somebody's life.
And look at her as she talks about it. Oh, I took somebody's life. And she's all attitude. Yeah, I'm glad that she got the death penalty for this, because I'm telling you right now, if she were paroled, she would commit more crimes. She would be committing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
There's zero remorse. And psychopaths, narcissists, whatever she's diagnosed as, I just call it evil.
Took somebody's child away, somebody's friend, somebody's sister. Hurt so many people with this. And even though it's not me, and I can't take full responsibility for this anymore, and I won't, because if I'm going to die in here, I'm going to die for my truth, not for my lie. Accept me for who I am, good, bad, and ugly.
That's a murderer.
Right there. Yeah.
just no remorse. Now listen, Wild Wanderer and everybody else, there was 3 people. She was the head honcho in this. Then there was her boyfriend. He ultimately got 25 to life. He was up on parole in 2025. Now he has to wait until 31. The other one got probation. She's the one that told. All right. And the other one, let me just Shadola Peterson. She was one of the people that was right with him during the attack. She could have stopped it, but no, she didn't. Instead, she confessed and she got a sweetheart of a deal, guys. Man, I didn't even realize that. You know how you cover stuff over the years and you don't follow it all the way, and then you're like, wait, what happened to these people? I didn't realize.
Well, you see so much that you can't really keep up with every single case you see.
Exactly, especially one like this. I've been watching the her being on the death penalty and thinking, they're never going to execute her because they don't.
Right.
But now they are. So let's listen. I can't wait to see her face on that day.
But I'm not going to die for a lie anymore. I'll die for my truth.
This version, however, sharply contrasted with her later behavior and her boastful, remorseless attitude. Pike also stated that she heard voices telling her what she needed to do and claimed to have experienced blackouts or dissociative episodes during the crime. Pike's trial took place in March 1996 in Knox County. On March 22, 1996, the jury found her guilty of premeditated first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. On March 30th, 1996, Pike was sentenced to death by electrocution, becoming the youngest woman on death row in the United States at the time.
And mind you, if you watch this court hearing, you watch any of this stuff, not one emotion.
Except crime.
Well, for herself.
Right.
But I mean, it's wild to hear her in that interview prior to this, to hear her just all fired up talking about, I'm going to tell my truth. Right?
Really badass, right?
Really badass until veins come into play. My veins are too small. I don't know.
Baby needles.
Yeah, we got to use baby needles. And can you go really fast so I don't have to feel it? No, bitch. Look what you did. An hour of torture and you murdered this woman. I know. I'm surprised.
Here's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
She heard voices. She had command hallucinations, auditory hallucinations. Wow. Doesn't every mentally ill, or doesn't everybody goes to trial says they had hallucinations?
Yep. They heard voices, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But she still must be hearing voices because she's still evil as ever.
That's right.
She's small there, too. I didn't even realize how tiny she was back then. Tiny and brutal. Damn. All right.
At just 20 years old. Upon hearing the sentence, Pike collapsed and cried uncontrollably. Tadarrell Shipp was tried and convicted in January 1997 of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Because he was 17 years old at the time of the crime, he was not eligible for the death penalty under Tennessee law and received a life sentence with the possibility of parole. His request for parole was denied in October 2025 due to the severity.
Doesn't even look like the same person, but I want to show you how this man turned to God. Did he really turn to God? Because
they all do.
Yeah, they all do. That's what I want to know. Did he turn? Because you could see him with a hat on. That's what they wear in prison when they identify themselves with. What is it, like a Muslim?
Even even Letitia Stouch turned to God, and she has to have special.
God. Yeah, right. Letitia Stout, my ass. All right, let's continue. He doesn't even look the same, but that was Christa Pike's boyfriend that she was so jealous of that she had to kill Colleen. All right, he'll probably get out in the next parole unless they really lay it on hard and people object to it.
Right.
I don't think a lot of people don't even know about this case, and that's why we're covering it. All right, it's so old. Press play.
Of the crime, and his case is scheduled to be reviewed again in October 2031. Shadola Peterson, who acted as a lookout during the attack, pleaded guilty as an accessory after the fact and received a sentence of 6 years of probation.
I knew from the beginning that I would be found guilty, and I knew from the beginning of my trial, that I would get the death penalty. I think I deserve to be in here for the rest of my life. I do. I know I do. I know I don't deserve to be out walking around with everybody else in normal society. I did something horrible that is unacceptable, and I realize that. But I don't deserve to die for the actions of 3 individuals.
Look at the darkness. It's like she's trying to intimidate the interview people. And guys, I know that when I do a collab, I don't get to like see everything y'all are doing and talk as much and pin the comments, but I really do appreciate you guys being here. We've been here for almost 2 hours. Are you okay, Lil Red? You good?
Perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know I usually
it flies by, doesn't it? Yeah.
It does. I was late too. I felt so bad. All right.
It's all good.
It's loud. Is it too loud?
My Frenchies are in here getting the zoomies, and I'm having to try to drown out their noise by turning off my mic and all that. So sorry, guys.
You're good. Don't worry about it. That's what we have, dogs and kids and things. All right, let's continue.
When I'm only one person.
Pike's violence did not end with her incarceration. On August 24, 2001, while in prison, she attacked and attempted to strangle a fellow inmate, Patricia Jones, using a shoelace, nearly suffocating her to death.
Patricia Jones had tortured me for about 4 years. She used to call me fried chicken, make noises to me and tell me that's how I was going to fry in the electric chair. Patricia was about 220 pounds at the time.
Okay.
I weighed about 100 pounds.
Now listen, here it is. Finally, Lil Red, she's talking about the attempted strangulation on another woman, but I bet she's not going to tell us that she wanted to strangle her because she was jealous. Dude, she's fired
blaming
up.
the victim. Yeah.
She blamed the victim the first time, and then there was 3 people. No, but lady, you're the one that initiated, followed through with this, and continued. Okay, it makes me mad, and
mad.
I'm gonna be waiting for your reporting, Lil Red, to see if she actually gets executed on that day.
Oh, you know you will.
I will. I've been watching this. Oh boy, have I been following this. I'm like, just do it already. Why are we dragging it out? All right.
And she jumped on my friend and was hurting her. And I jumped on Patricia and choked her with a shoestring. Get her off my friend.
That's the video.
Get her off me.
Wait, did you say something?
I said that's the real video you're seeing. That is the actual video from what happened inside that prison. You hear that person choking? It's real.
Oh wow, was it? I didn't.
Yeah.
Trigger warning, guys. I figured some of it was cutting in and out, but my goodness, I went through so many clips, and I wanted to make sure we weren't doing AI or some of that. She does. Michelle says she doesn't sound like Letitia Stout. Letitia is a backwoods hillbilly. No, it's not. I don't think, Michelle. I don't think that we were saying that she talks like Letitia Stout. We're saying she's evil, like Letitia. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said, a mystic said, "Wait, I didn't think they had shoes with laces." Well, listen, this was in 2001. This was 25 years ago. All right. She did this 6 years after being convicted and getting the death penalty by electric chair. All right.
Finally, on September 30th, 2025, the Tennessee Supreme Court issued an execution order for Pike, scheduling her death for September 30th.
Now, she already looks different. She's already starting to change significantly in a year. And then here, September 30th, 2025. Aren't we in 2026? What happened? Do you know what happened with that, Lil Red?
Yeah, she got a stay. One of her things that she filed, she actually got a stay. And so they had to argue about that. And then now they come back and here she is again out for execution. But there's nothing else she can argue. It's over. Everything has been done.
Right. But she's 18 of these things, guys. Every time she does an appeal or she tries to do any of that and they go to court, there goes the family, the mom
Let
again.
me show y'all so you can see them.
Oh
This
my
is
goodness.
the list right here of every single motion or well, everything she filed right here. I mean, it's a lot.
It is a lot. And typically people on death row do that, but in this situation it's like she confessed. She talked about it, what she did. They found a skull that she was carrying around. They know she carved a pentagram. I mean, what more is it that you
That's
need
right.
from somebody, you know? That what did they decide?
Right.
Christa, we what they decided was that they're not going to listen to her because they don't do hangings. All right, nothing's wrong with her freaking blood or her veins, and if they have to, they'll do lethal injection with a baby needle because we want to make sure that Christa doesn't feel any pain. Right? We care about that? No,
I know.
I
Makes
don't
me
care about
sick.
that. It makes me sick too. It's disgusting how the perpetrators get so many rights.
2026. Pike will become the first woman executed in Tennessee in more than 200 years and the only person executed in the state in the modern era of the death penalty for a crime committed at the age of 18. The execution is scheduled to take place at Riverbend Maximum Security Institution in Nashville, which houses Tennessee's execution chamber. Under state law, Pike has the right to choose between lethal injection, the default method, or electrocution, since the crime was committed before January 1st, 1999.
So you hear that, guys? Hanging isn't an option. All right, let me remove this for a second, and I got one more clip of court. We're gonna fast forward to. Yeah, guys. Carol says, "Let her suffer." In my opinion, I agree. But
me too.
The parents. I mean, this is horrific. When was her last appeal? Was that this recent court date?
It was from 2026 when she went on to try to get herself hung instead of the normal way of execution. That was the last thing they did. Let me see if I can pull the date up for you. Hang on.
Right. Any accommodations for her too much? And it's funny because they said, "Hey, you know what? You can get the electric chair or you can get the lethal injection. You choose." No, I think I'll take hanging. Well, the judge ruled against that, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show her in court being ruled against just days ago. Ready for it. She is proud of it. It's interesting, right?
It is.
What documents? You got some of the documents. Is there anything that you want to? Because I missed the beginning. I'm sorry. Anything that you want to share about what you found? Anything interesting? Or I mean, it's all interesting. You know what I mean.
It is all interesting. Here's what I'm going to do is because we cannot play the oral arguments, and that's always a fascinating thing because it's too long, 58 minutes, and I know we don't have time to do that. So I'm just going to do another live during the day, and I'm going to play those oral arguments or sometime in the afternoon, before the nighttime. So we don't interfere with your life, of course.
Well, you're either way. And she did, there's a confession. She didn't confess because she wanted to, Cynthia, and I'm talking to you, Cynthia Nicole. She didn't confess that way, but she gave the confession right now in that jail interview once she was already prosecuted because there were other people. She had 3 people. One was her leading. The other one was her boyfriend to Daryl that got 25 to life. And then we've got the woman that, what is her name? So Colleen Slemmer is the victim here. And where's these names? Shadala Peterson snitched them out and ultimately only got probation. She never did any kind of prison time. So yeah, she talks about it only because they did. I don't think she would ever do that. Bye, Susie Q. All right.
Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
How do you answer that? I'm curious, Beach Fairy, our Little Red. What was it? Her idea or a group effort?
It was her idea because remember she was so jealous, and she said, "Hey, let's do this." And the other 2 said, "Okay," and they participated. They never thought she would kill this chick. That's the whole thing. They thought it was just going to be a fight, but she ended up killing her. So,
and they didn't realize that she was going to come out with this anger, and once they were in that situation, they were in it. They stayed in it, but they didn't. Shadella didn't help, and her boyfriend. I think it was like a boyfriend might have had they had like something, or she had a crush on him, and Christa couldn't take it. Christa said, "I don't want anybody else to even look at you or have you or anything. So the best way to do it is just to kill her." Right? Yeah, they both could have stopped her. Agreed.
They sure could have, and that's the problem here. Yeah,
that is the problem. It's weird though. I wonder what Shadolla's doing, but you got to think every night she probably, when she closes her eyes, she's got to think about that girl. She's got to think about Colleen and what they did to her. Can you imagine not?
I hope she sees it in her dreams every night. And no, I'm not being mean, but she walked out on probation. She needs to have something to keep her from ever getting herself in that position again. So if you don't go to jail, you're not getting the deterrent, you're just on probation. You got to have something that stops them from saying, well, you know what? I don't want to see that again.
Right? And I even hope, I do hope that she would make that decision, or better yet, if you're in a predicament like that, you help somebody. You don't go along with it and sit there and watch them carve out a thing. And, this girl was probably dying. She probably had the biggest head trauma and whatever else they were doing to her. It's just,
well, she had a piece of her skull missing. So, that was agony because, Christa takes the souvenir, which is the piece of the skull, and she wags it around all those years, her trophy.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing is, how the hell did she get a piece of the skull without, I mean, just period, right? So I think it was a asphalt rock or something that they smashed to her head. That's gotta be painful. And I'm not talking about lethal injection painful. I'm talking about you're dying a slow death. You're choking on your own blood while they're doing this.
That's right.
She didn't get away with it long. It happened in 1995, and by 1997, she was convicted. Now, you don't go along with the crowd. Exactly. I'll tell you, though, how long it took, but let me show you in court now what the judge ruled, so nobody's in the dark about what's happening next. Will Christa Pike meet her maker on 9/30/2026? You want to put that up, and we'll roll that, and then... Mob mentality.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, kittens in crime. All right. It's also 555, guys. Say a prayer.
Make a wish.
Yes. Make a wish and say a prayer. Okay. We pray for the victim and the victims in this case. And the number one victim in this case is Colleen Slemmer. She lost her life, and I don't even think she was 18 yet. This is such a backstory. I think Christa was the oldest one. All right, let me press play. There's a lot of backstory to this, but we only have 2 hours, so.
Mr. Pike here ended earlier than thought, about noon today. Tonight, the judge is weighing all the arguments over how Pike should be executed. It's going to happen late next month. She tortured and murdered Colleen Slemmer back in 1995 on UT's campus. 3 days of hearings. Both sides argue how she should die. One side said normal execution procedures would cause her stress. Our Caitlin Walsh is joining us now. Caitlin, you heard from the state, you heard from Pike's legal team making their final push in court today. What do you know? What comes next?
Hi, Ted. Yes, it was 3 long days of hearing testimony from expert witnesses from all types of professions. Now, all of this, with this hearing ending today, there's just one central question that remains. It's whether or not Christa Pike would have a needless suffering from any of these execution methods. Both sides made their...
Oh, hey, they could just go right back to the electric chair and stuff her right up like they did with Bundy, right?
Maybe they should. If she doesn't want to go, she doesn't want to get lethal injection because of her veins. Well, just burn her. How about that?
And it's interesting that she goes on. I think it's fair too. She goes on about her trauma. She goes on about everything else. But make her suffer. Right. Yeah. Make her suffer. And there's people that don't believe in the death penalty, guys. And I appreciate that. For those of you that don't believe in the death penalty, kudos to you. They hardly get executed anyway. I'm not gonna be, it's not gonna make or break me if somebody gets a death penalty or doesn't, because we know that how long it takes and the money that it takes to house these people. But sad serial killers are always remembered, not the victims, right? And that's what the family says. All right, I'm gonna press play. The volume is as loud as I can go.
I'm turning mine up too.
Okay, thank you.
Final arguments.
Christa will involuntarily experience this superadded terror and psychological pain as the state executes her.
Christa Pike, the woman who was convicted of killing her classmate Colleen Slemmer in 1995, is the only woman on Tennessee's death row, and she's looking to change the way she'll be put to death.
Now, this other alternative has the testimony in this court demonstrates that it's a very old practice.
Hello, Teresa. I had to say hello to my girl, Teresa. Rocco, I'm religious, but it also says in the Bible, an eye for an eye. The best part about this is her being afraid of the execution. And we know she is.
I think so.
Every night she goes to sleep, and every date that comes up for execution, I bet you she's shitting her pants. Right? And rightfully so. Literally, but rightfully so. I mean, she's not rehabilitated. This is probably one of the most unrehabilitated people I've ever seen. Seriously, like, and a lot of times you see them change over time and morph. They at least try to go to God, but not her. All right. Yeah, she's afraid. Every time she's afraid. She was supposed to be executed last year in 2025, guys. So she's had an extra year.
That's right.
All right. You'll see her over here. This is just her defense attorney trying to get her out of it.
It's something that death execution by hanging has been around for, I think, thousands of years.
Pike's lawyers argue she needs a different method of execution because of a blood condition, PTSD, and trauma, small veins for IV lines, and if her two other methods would cause her less pain.
The Supreme Court referred 5 issues, now 4, to this court to help inform its determination of whether or not to grant a stay of execution so that Ms. Pike could pursue collateral litigation that may affect the method and timing of her execution.
Defense lawyers say her other method is another IV line, which is called a central line. However, even some of their own experts said they would not do that kind of line as it can be dangerous.
There is no need to strap Ms. Pike to a gurney, no need to prod and find venous access, and no need for her to lie there reliving her sexual assaults by the involuntary actions of her.
Wait, what?
What the hell? Now look, now I'm getting upset.
Where does the
when she was a child? When she was a child, when the trauma from when she was a kid.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
that's
so
right.
They're trying to play that. We should probably talk about Colleen. Shouldn't he talk about Colleen and how long it took her to take her last breath and what she would be feeling if she was being carved in the chest while she was dying?
I think so.
Unbelievable. I'm so glad the judge
unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. I'm glad that the judge ruled this way. I'm looking up the article of like a timeline, and this has been quite a timeline for her, and she's used to getting away and getting out of this. I don't think she's going to this time. All right, let me finish this.
Traumatized brain.
State attorneys say they were questioning one of the expert witnesses, the defense.
Look at her there. Like, I'm serious. That's like the most evil person I see there. Look at those eyes. And she's got jowls now. Like the bulldogs, they got the jowls.
Like these Frenchies, yeah.
Yes, I love Frenchies. She deserves what she got. No, we're not supposed to feel bad for her, Bets. The defense attorney wants us to feel bad for her, but we don't feel bad for her. I don't, anyway. Look at her. Just dead stare. Ugh. I wouldn't even want to be.
She made a choice.
She did. And she made a choice again and again and again. Everything she did, anything she did in prison that was bad, any kind of these, blaming other people again and again. Ugh.
Brought on hanging as an execution method.
Is the only possible alternative that Ms. Pike could prevail on. If she couldn't achieve that in this hearing, all of her claims are out the door. And yet her only expert on this topic was utterly unqualified and unprepared.
Defense lawyers say Tennessee's most recent failed execution attempt, Tony Carruthers. Defense lawyers had an attorney testify to what she saw during his execution. She talked about seeing Carruthers in pain while he was stuck with IV needles over and over.
Damn.
Judge Ward is going to make sure he can review all of the evidence that he gathered from hearing.
Oh, I didn't mean to. Okay, well, we know that they ruled. I've got one more thing to share, if that's okay, just so people can see like the timeline kind of. I normally do a timeline, but today I'm just all over the place. All right, so there's that. I just want people to see what happened, how old Daryl is, etc. Bolo. All right, look, guys. So this was in 1995. I know it's hard to follow a case this far back, especially when things happen that we really just haven't kept up on. So, killer in 1995, Knoxville job court case denied parole to Daryl Shipp. That was her boyfriend and then girlfriend, Christa Pike, murdered Colleen Slemmer after luring her to a remote spot on the UTAG campus. All right. The man that was sent to prison nearly 30 years ago for helping Christa Pike torture and murder Knoxville job court student Colleen was denied parole after a hearing on Monday. All right. This was last year. According to officials, his parole was denied due to the seriousness of this offense. All right. His case will be revisited in 6 years, October of 2031. Daryl Shipp is 47 now. Right. He's been in custody, whether in jail or prison, since 1995 of January. All right. He was convicted of a separate jury in 1997 of first-degree murder, giving the chance that one day he might be paroled. But this crime happened in 1995. So it moved a lot quicker to trial than some of the cases do nowadays. That's what I think. What do you think about that?
100% I agree with that. Yeah, 100%.
It was January 12th, 1995 was when that happened. And all of them were done by 1997. So that's pretty quick.
And then they start the other part. The appeal.
Oh, and we should tell people that appeals don't mean shit. Appeals are more likely to be denied than not. So every time we watch a trial, right? Every time, so we're going to watch Lindsay Clancy, and let's say she gets convicted of the worst, right?
First degree murder.
They're going to file an appeal. They have 30 days to file an appeal?
Yeah.
Okay, so isn't that just protocol?
Yes, it is. The first one's just kind of like this automatic thing that they do. And if you don't file it by that period of time, too late, you can't get it filed later.
Right.
You have to have a really good attorney.
So I know a lot of people use that as they just got convicted, but they're already, going on appeal, like Carmelo Anthony. I knew that was going to be denied, right? There were people making posters and saying he's going to be out by this date. No, he's not, because it's 95% more likely, or something like that sort, that you're going to get denied retrial than anything else. All right. I don't know.
They're rare. Yeah,
they're rare. Yeah, like it is weird that Murdaugh's getting one and Letitia, but
let me tell you something really fast about Letitia Stouch. Letitia Stouch is absolutely because the judge made an error, and I'm shocked he made this error. He knew better. There absolutely was a person on the jury panel that has somebody working in that district attorney's office. That is the huge no-no. That is huge. That is why she got an appeal. I mean, that's why she got, yeah.
Letitia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a member of the jury who was impaneled making the decision on her case, their family member worked in the district attorney's office.
Right.
It's too close. You can't do that.
And then look at Murdoch.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Becky and the damn book and what she did. If you guys don't know about that, then yeah.
We need to talk about that. We need to talk about that one day.
We will. All right. So listen, guys, Tadaryl Shipp still in custody. He's going to come back again in 2031. Shipp's hearing was held at the Northwest Correctional Complex in Tiptonville in the far west Tennessee. It was part of a broader parole docket for inmates, said parole board spokesman Dustin Krugel. Now, Mae Martinez of Florida, that's the mother of victim Colleen Slimmer, didn't know about next week's parole eligibility date until informed by WBIR, which is this news station, the local news station.
Right.
So, yeah, since 1996, Christa has been on death row. This crime happened in January 12th, 1995, and she was already on death row by 1996 after being convicted of murdering Colleen Slimmer in Knoxville with the help of her boyfriend. All right. Now, at the time, she was only 17. All right. Colleen Shipp was then 17. Pike was 18. And they lured Shipp must be, they keep putting last names. Shipp is what? Is that the female or the male?
That's the female.
Okay. No, Shipp.
No, wait a minute. That's Tadaryl Shipp.
Tadaryl. Sorry. They use last names and I'm not familiar. Okay, so Tadaryl was 17, Christa was 18, and Colleen was 19 at the University of Tennessee Agricultural Campus. Now, the night of January 12th, 1995, on the pretense of smoking marijuana, the devil's lettuce, right? Marijuana, the three, plus Shadola, who was 18 at the time, they were all residents at the Job Corp Center, and Peterson went along with the three that night. Now, Shipp, Tadaryl, and Christa were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, and Christa thought that Slimmer had eyes on Tadaryl. Now, this is pretty outlandish for her to have an accusation like this anyway, and then to do what she did over an accusation. Like, she could have just asked her man, is she flirting with you? Or, I don't know, anything but what she did. So when all four of them got to the campus, Christa turned on Colleen, the victim, and she began assaulting the Florida woman. Now, over a course of 30 minutes to an hour, they stabbed, cut, beat, and bludgeoned Slimmer, who tried repeatedly to run away. She died at the scene, and her body was found the next morning in the brush. Now, a couple days later, Christa did admit to police what she had done. And Tadaryl also admitted to police that he helped in the attack. Now, Tadaryl was a juvenile at the time, and the Knox County jurors couldn't consider the death penalty against him. So his age helped him win sympathy among jurors at the time as they considered his punishment. But Christa was 18, right? And, well, the leader, in my opinion. Now,
she was,
yeah. WBR alerted Martinez about Tadaryl's hearing, the mom. So this news station alerted Christa's mom about Tadaryl getting a parole hearing on Wednesday night. So right before, and Krugel said that the board's victim service staff didn't have the current contact information to notify her mom after the passage of so much time. And that happens. All right. So Martinez said she plans to submit a video. Her mom wants to oppose this again and again to Daryl's release. All right. Now she's got 6 more years, and they attended October 8th hearing. Person was unable to. We know what happened now. It got denied, and 2031 is when he'll get it again. September 30th, 2026 is the execution for Pike, and she's being held in Nashville in a women's prison. All right, I think we're good. Her execution would be carried out at Riverbend Maximum Security, which is an all-male facility in Nashville. All right.
Wow.
So, I mean, it is wild because you don't really have women on death row very often, let alone after these 30 years or whatever.
Right.
So,
Hey,
guys,
that's wild.
we made it.
That
We
was
made
fun.
it.
Absolutely
It
fun.
was.
Yes, it was.
Again,
Yeah,
I apologize for being late.
It's okay. You're excused for being tardy for my classroom. Absolutely.
I gotta get a note.
I don't have any note. Well, I'll send you one later. How about that? We'll just do that.
Hey, you write handwritten notes. I'm expecting a handwritten note after class.
Well, oddly enough, on your phone, you can have it handwritten looking.
Oh, really?
You know. Yeah, you can text it. You can text it like that. Anyway, yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, this is so interesting.
Anyone have any final thing that they want to say or any of that? I mean, otherwise, we're just waiting. 9/30/2026. How do you follow these cases? I'm curious. Do you follow them on Pacer or what?
Actually, I signed up on websites for Florida and a couple other states that do the death penalty. So they send me this information that they're going to do this ahead of time. So I know it's going to happen. And so I make sure I track that and make sure I can do the execution watch because it's just something I enjoy.
Oh.
So
I know. Well, I'm like that too. Like I'll follow certain things. Like I really am interested in serial killers and how their mind works. I'm interested in family annihilators because it keeps happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Remember when Chris Watts did that? It was like a big deal because there hadn't been, we hadn't heard about a family annihilator. Now it's like just another Sunday. That's what I feel like. It keeps happening.
I've thought about this a lot. And if you remember back years ago when we did not have food additives in our food, you just didn't see the kind of crime you see now. And I don't know if there's anything that correlates with that, but I've often wondered if that had something to do with it's changed people's minds. I don't know.
I mean, you're on track. I was talking to my boss today, and he said with the microplastics and things that are in the food now, I mean, it's completely different, Lil Red. Let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves. Our children now, we can't even comprehend what's going on out there on a daily basis with the instant communication, etc. But how is it that everybody gets postpartum now? How is it that every child has ADHD? I mean, how did that happen? Did it happen because? Go ahead. I'm curious. I
just think that people like ADHD and some of these things were already out there, but we did not know it because we did not have social media put in our face. But they used to just think that these children have behavior problems. They didn't understand that there was something completely different chemically in their brain than there is in our brain. So that's what I think. Now, a lot of autism, I mean, and people who have children late in life, those children can be very vulnerable to autism too. And I don't know why, but it's just something that goes along with that. But I always wanted to study it.
They warn you about that as well, like with the postpartum crisis ever bigger than ever. Again, everybody didn't have postpartum and now they do. Almost every mother that I talk to says they had postpartum and their doctor gave them Ativan.
What?
And I'm talking about this generation, not your generation, not when I was 25 years old. I'm talking about now. And people have children older. People used to have children.
Absolutely.
It was typical at 20. Now it's like 30, 31,
You can safely have a child in your 40s.
Absolutely.
The only thing I can say to you about that is make sure you do have the greatest care while you're pregnant because you want to make sure that that baby is safe and that you are safe.
Well, Kaiser's pretty good about that. They call it geriatric pregnancy at 35. And they really monitor it. And I know because that baby Guilty was born at that age. Mama, Mrs. Guilty, got postpartum and all the other stuff. And so, but they considered a geriatric pregnancy.
Exactly. So I was grandma, but anyway.
It's good to hear your perspective and see some of the people in chat because I really don't believe that it's just because we have social media now that we know about it. It's got to be more than that.
I think it is more than that. Yeah.
What you said was spot on with what my boss said. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Cynthia says
we could have a whole, we could do a whole nother show on just that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys for being here. For those that were like, what happened to Jay? Why is she not on here? Thank you for being patient with me. Lil Red, thank you for collabing with me.
Sure. I appreciate it.
I'm a fan of yours, and the real people have to stick with the real people. And the nonsense.
Amen.
All right. Don't get,
Thank you.
we'll do it together. I will text you when I got these people attacking me in whole communities and say, Lil Red, they just want the numbers, girl. They just want the hashtags. You have more subscribers than 90% of the Chroma channels. You know that, right?
Right. But I mean, they're all over the world. And a lot of times they don't always watch, even though they subscribed. I mean, when I first started, it was, a lot more came in, but they are all over the world. And sometimes the time just doesn't work for people. So anyway, it's okay.
Right. Well, but it's just, it's not just that though. You have subs that you've acquired through your coverage. And your coverage, what I'm saying is, I know all subs aren't active. Imagine 10,000 people are like, I can't talk to you. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about the channels that like to trash true crime channels. They usually don't make it past 5,000 subscribers. I'd like you to pay attention to that.
I did not know
channels, they're getting knocked off by the day. YouTube is cleaning up the streets. I'm telling you. So just when you get a channel like that, that's for you guys too. Anybody that's talking shit about Jay from Guilty of Crime doesn't even know me, or Lil Red. It's just their content. And YouTube needs to clean up the streets because it's not cool.
It's not fair. It's not right.
It's not when somebody can just tell a lie and people take it for the truth.
Oh, they run with it. That's right. They think, oh my God, so-and-so said it must be true. And it's not. I think the YouTube streets are just dangerous, and they're dangerous because if they get into your private life and they start putting that out there, it's time to get off at that point.
Right.
That's how they try to ruin people right there. So think about that when you're forming a channel or coming out into the YouTube world. Think about that, people. Anyway.
Or even a subscriber. Think about that as a subscriber going from channel to channel. Just I would say it's better to just stay out of the bullshit.
Right. Don't even go to those channels. Ignore them. Yeah. Just come on over with us, when we're live. So.
And if you're gonna go over there, just ignore the negativity if you can, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, but I've seen them talk about subs, and that really makes me mad. Okay, talk about the creators, but don't talk about the subs. They just come into our channel because they want to talk or they like us. They've not done anything. Makes me sick.
Well, YouTube is cleaning up the streets a little, so let's hope that they do. I got a lot of people here that are subbed up to you now, and I appreciate your support, and I appreciate your input and what you have to offer to true crime. So thank you. All right, guys, all of you, thank you. Made it for 2.5 hours. Go Team Go. All right, tomorrow's Friday, so it's going to be a good day. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but we'll do something. All right.
I'm gonna clean my house anyway.
You're gonna clean your house on a Friday?
Well, with this trial, it lasts all day, and it just takes up a lot of your time. So you're in front of the screen 6-7 hours. You just don't get things done. So I need to get it done. Anyway.
Well, I hope people were with you on that. I didn't know.
Oh, they were.
Oh, good, awesome. Because people ask me if I'm gonna cover trials. No, I work. So, hey, I'll push them over to you.
Push them on over because I am.
Yeah, I can't cover trials. I can't sit there all day doing that, but I would love for a good, real person that's not an asshole to do so. So there you go, Lil Rat.
Right. I'm not going to analyze it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just here to bring it to you, let you make your decisions, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Nobody's going to challenge you in this chat room. I'm not going to allow that.
Right.
You're entitled to feel how you feel about it. Yeah, right. Exactly.
And
it's the same.
That's It's awesome. I love watching trials with a community of people where I feel safe. So, and there's not a bunch of trolls in it, but yeah, I appreciate you guys. Tomorrow's Friday, and you guys know the deal. 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Come back. You know what we do on Fridays. We have giveaways. We do call-ins sometimes. Whatever. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll be back 4 p.m. And when's your next stream tomorrow? What time?
I don't really have anything planned for tomorrow because again, I'm just waiting on the verdict to come in. When the verdict comes in for Lindsay Clancy, then I'll jump back on. But
okay.
That I'm going to do something on the 29th. I'm going to do Scott Peterson.
Oh, cool. All right.
I want to look at some of his. So yeah.
Awesome. One of my friends works at that prison where Scott Peterson. I know. I can't say much about any of it, but a lot of it's just a filler. When we read these headlines about a pickleball fight, him playing pickleball, it's so inflated.
It's too funny.
Yeah, it's inflated garbage, but hey, we're here for it. So, all right, guys, Deafening Silence says Lil Red's amazing. Love her, and we all do here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. It's your job to cut this off.
All right. Thank you so much. And everybody, please be careful out there. Take care of yourself and go hug your babies because life is short. And our time with this is even shorter. And the one thing I don't want to see anybody say is, I wish I would have told them. I wish I would have touched them. Go call them right now. I'll see you guys later. Good night. Bye.
Good night. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Time to hit the road. Vroom, vroom. Let's go.